Hey, it's been a while. We've missed you. I'm here to welcome you to Alpha Nerds number 24. I am joined here by my number one co-host, my right-hand man, my the peanut butter to my jelly, if you will.
Ooh.
That could get a little sexual, but we'll go with it. I'm joined here by none other than Seth, the first Anguist Psychos. How are we doing today, buddy?
I'm doing phenomenal, pal. I'm doing
I
phenomenal.
bet.
I haven't had to be at work in 3 weeks.
Beautiful.
Now I gotta look here. You called me the first Anguist. I forget which one that is.
That would be a surprise, buddy.
I shouldn't look it up.
Yeah, don't do that.
Oh, okay.
You know how Kiseki is. You could just spoil yourself by just glancing at something.
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought that was something that I already knew, so that's why I was looking it up. See, that's what gets me every time. Every time.
You know.
I think I knew what was going on, but I forget. I'm like, well, I don't trust myself. I think I've forgotten. So I look it up and I'm like, oh, that's a spoiler.
So I have a really interesting theory about Kiseki, by the way.
Okay, what is it?
This is a complete stab in the dark, but the whole thing with Ouroboros and going into Trails in the Reverie, I think they're going to reveal that the Grandmaster is actually Adios.
I'd be kind of pissed, but we'll talk about Trails. We'll talk about Trails here in a little bit. Let's save that.
You heard it here first, folks.
Anyway, I'm doing really good, man. Like I said, I've had to be in work in 3 weeks. I just got back from a 2-week trip to Disney World.
Yeah.
Which was phenomenal. Had a blast down there. I built a lightsaber. Caitlin built a lightsaber. Yeah. We bought 2 lightsabers. I built a droid down there. Just had a lot of fun. Spent all my money. I literally came back from Disney World fucking broke. I barely made it
back. That's awesome.
Well, yeah. So like, it was one of those things. This is my first extended vacation.
Yeah.
That I've taken since as I've become an adult. Like, this is the first time where I'm just like, all right, well, I'm just not going to be around for a month. You know?
Yeah, we're gone.
And I forgot to account for bills in my vacation budget. So like, I got down there and I was spending money like crazy, and I was like, oh shit, like I gotta pay my fucking mortgage and my car payment and stuff like that. And I was like, oh crap. So I had to pump the brakes a little bit about halfway through, but we still had a blast. Ate at all the fancy restaurants and whatnot. Now here's the thing: I don't know if we're gonna go back next year because I got a wedding to plan. I'm an engaged man now, Pedro.
You're an engaged man. You are an engaged man.
So that
Congratulations.
was Congratulations. Thank you.
Really
I appreciate that. Thank you. Got engaged on May 4th in front of the Millennium Falcon, like a true Star Wars nerd. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's a great day. Had a great trip. Caitlin's super happy. That's all she wanted. So she was super content the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we came back last Monday, and I have this whole week off now. Caitlin had to go back to work yesterday. So she's mad about that. Yeah. I get to stay home while she has to work.
That's an L for her.
But I'm having a blast.
You should be.
Just hanging out. I'm doing adult things now. I bought a pressure washer today and pressure washed my house. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's weird because as an adult, I have to do adult things sometimes.
Yeah. Pressure wash in the house.
Yep. And my sister's coming to visit tomorrow, so I got to spend a decent amount of time tonight cleaning, picking things up, and
is this Molly?
Emily. Well, Molly's coming too. Molly just happens to be in the area right now.
Okay. So. Nice.
Yeah. No, I'm having a blast. How are you, buddy? What's going on in Pedro's
I'm great. So, for the record, it was like really hard. I was like dying with anticipation, waiting for the proposal. I'm like, I knew it was coming. I'm like, fuck. Yeah. Let's get. I'm like, when's he gonna do it? And then I'm like, May the 4th. He's probably gonna do it May the 4th. I will say you nailed it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you nailed it, buddy. That was great. Great job.
Thank you. Well, it was super hard because, of course, it was May the 4th, and I knew I wanted to do it in front of the Falcon. Because I'm like, I got to do it. That is the place to do it. I'm not going to do it in front of some random speeder. I'm not going to do it in front of the fucking castle or wherever. Got to believe in Millennium Falcon. May the 4th, Millennium Falcon. That's it. Yeah, the issue, though, of course, is that on the 4th, everyone's in the Star Wars.
Yeah.
Everyone's, around there. And we're talking thousands of people. So I walked in front of the Falcon with, me and Austin and his fiance, or I guess his wife now. We walked back in front of the Falcon and through that area like 6 times. And finally, it was late in the evening. And I was, we went to the bathroom. I told him, like, listen, this time I just got to figure it out. Because the issue is that we knew we wanted to get pictures and stuff, but
people were going to be in it.
People were going to be all over the place walking through it and stuff. So finally, I'm like, I just got to figure it out. We got to do our best, and it's now or never. So we finally go there, and there was one of the Disney photographers, coincidentally, right there in front of the Falcon. And they clear people out for you, like, because people obviously listen to the Disney employees because they don't want to get their vacation ruined.
Right.
So I told her, I was like, I need to propose to my girlfriend. Are you okay with that? And she's like, oh yeah, that's great. Just, give me the cue. And that's how we got so many high quality photos. Because otherwise I was just going to have Austin record it and then, take screen grabs. But it turned out even better. So yeah, it was a blast. We had a lot of fun and, just ate a lot of good food, had a lot of fun, relaxed. Didn't get a whole lot of video gaming done. I thought I was going to get a lot of gaming done. It's too busy.
No gaming was necessary.
Too busy. So you blew past me in the Kaseki race. You left me in
the Kaseki king.
You left me in the fucking dirt. Is what you did.
Yeah, that was my plan the whole time. I knew you were. I knew you were like, I'm the Kaseki king. I'm like, you got that vacation planned. That's when I struck.
Son of a bitch.
I will divulge though. Not too much details, but just know your bachelor party's already being planned.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that didn't take long.
No. In fact, it's been in the works for a couple weeks.
Wow.
And we've been hammering out some ideas. I'm so excited. You have no idea my level of excitement.
I wish when all this is said and done, you gotta show me the messages that you guys.
Oh yeah, I will.
Back and forth because I'm dying to know what you guys are talking about. Because I've been there for Corey's bachelor party and Watson's and the messages leading up to that, and it's a shit show.
Yeah, but, so we're excited. I messaged Robert the day you did it. I'm like, it's time. And and I'm like, yeah, we were both really excited. I go, yeah, I'm so excited. I love weddings, so this is gonna be great. Rule. So congrats to you and
thanks, buddy.
And Caitlin. I think you guys are adorable together. So good stuff.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Now, for me, I have I've had an interesting time off while you were away.
Oh, so you took a vacation at the same time?
Well, no, I didn't go anywhere. I just life happened with me. So my car, like I was going to take a vacation later this month, but my car decided it was time. It needed about $3,000 in repairs in 30 days. Yeah, we're hurting. Yeah, so I took my car to Pep Boys. Mistake number one, I realized. And they ran a diag on the car, and they're like, oh, yeah, you need a catalytic converter. So I pay for that, which was $1,300 for a catalytic converter.
You didn't get yours stolen, did you?
No, mine.
Oh, okay.
So here's where the story gets a little murky. So they run a diag on my car, which so I'm in the door, $116 in the door. They have to run a diag. It's like, oh well, we don't know if it's actually that. It could be something else. I'm like, oh okay, so run the diag. God forbid it's something else, and I don't get a cat. I'm in. So we run the diag, and of course it pops up the cat efficiency codes. They're like, yeah, you need a new catalytic converter. I'm like, all right. So I pay the $1,300. That big fat stinky L. They go, all right. So drive it around for a couple days. If the check engine light comes back on, bring it back. I'm like, that's interesting. Why would the check engine light come back on? So I drive away. Not even 24 hours later, check engine light comes on. I'm like, yeah, I'm not taking it back to you fuckers. So like a couple weeks later, because it's hard for me to take off because I work Monday through Friday. Like it's not exactly easy. But I took off and took it to a local mechanic that's down the road here. And they also ran a diag. So I'm already diagnostics alone. I'm in the car $300 on diagnostics alone in less than 30 days. Car's been driven less than 300 miles. And they proceed to tell me that, hey, your flex pipe is completely rotted through. I'm like, what do you mean my flex pipe? It was like, so like my exhaust. So they show it to me.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
they show it to me, and this thing's like completely like rusted, rotted through the metal. And they go, "You said you had your catalytic converter replaced." I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure." So they're like, "Well, we don't understand how Pep Boys would have missed this, because you have to, in order to install a catalytic converter, you have to like move the flex pipe and like reattach it to it." So I'm like, they were like, "There's no way this guy could have missed this." And I like, I'll show you a photo if I had one on me. Like, the pipe's still sitting in my car. I keep it. I carry it around as a trophy until Pep Boys pays me back.
Yeah, get him.
Yeah. So long story short, I take it to Pep Boys and like, yeah, you guys put a part on my car that I didn't need, and then I showed them like the receipt from this mechanic when they ran the diag. They're like, "Oh, well, that could have been wear and tear." And I showed them the pipe. I'm like, "This is completely rotted through. Like, that's not wear and tear in less than 30 days, dude." Like,
so here's what I don't understand about this whole situation is that your car is a 2018,
2014,
2014. Okay, it's pretty I mean, it's pretty unusual for a car that new to lose its catalytic converter that quick. I mean,
yeah.
How many miles are on it?
I mean, now it's like 110.
And
But
then like the rusting through and stuff.
yeah. Well,
I just
because
don't
here's my
get it.
issue. I didn't know the catalytic converter. I questioned because like my car wasn't doing like stuff that like catalytic converters. Usually, there's telltale signs like that smelling like rotten eggs and like losing power and
Yeah.
gas efficiency. Like, I wasn't having any of those problems. But when we ran the code, it was a cat efficiency code. So I'm like, oh well, fuck, I'm no mechanic,
Well,
whatever.
yeah. I mean that it's connected to the exhaust system. So
Yeah. So,
it
but so here's what I think Pep Boys did was, and I'm hoping it's not this because that's some like fucking nefarious type shit. They're like, yeah, we got him for 1,300. Let's fucking throw this new cat on, and then that light's gonna pop. He's gonna bring it back, and we're gonna ding him for the flex pipe because the flex pipe cost me $1,500.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Holy shit, Pedro.
yeah,
So this is what my dad always says. Now, Denny Slakehouse, he knows some things.
correct,
He knows a thing or two. Dad always says, he said the best investment you can make is to learn how to work on vehicles because garages take people for all they're worth because they know people can't do it themselves.
correct.
And he's like, I've saved people thousands of dollars because they come to me for a second opinion, and I can fix the car, and it's not what the garages say they are. Like you take your car for inspection to some garages, they're like, "Oh, you need new headlights and you
Yeah,
need new tail lights," and there's nothing wrong with them, but they just want your money. They want the labor. They can charge you
yeah,
for anything. Um, and it's like, most grandmas don't fucking know. They're like, "All right, do whatever you can do it," so they get away with this kind of stuff. But and garages are like notorious for doing fake oil changes.
yeah.
You bring a car in for an oil change, and they'll just be like, they'll drain it and then you know maybe pour new oil in, but they won't change the filter, or they'll just change the filter, or
Hmm.
it's just like they'll they're ridiculous.
Yeah. Now these guys at Pep Boys are crooks, man. Like, so right now we are in a battle of me getting my money back because like the thing that's my issue. It'd be one thing if they put the cat on and like it didn't need it, but like it's a new part, like whatever. But my thing is like they ran a diag, told me it was this, and then like my pipe was all fucked. I'm like, how do you miss this?
Yeah.
And that's my biggest issue.
It sounds like they didn't change it.
No,
It sounds
I
like
don't even know.
they
I
lied
honestly
to you.
don't know if they changed the catalytic converter. I honestly don't know if they just took my money and
It sounds like they didn't. I mean, if that guy's, I mean, no, I haven't changed a catalytic converter, right?
yeah,
But it sounds like that garage is like, hey, they couldn't have done this and not seen it. It
yeah.
sounds like they lied and didn't do it.
Yeah, because like he literally told me, he's like, we honestly do not know how they would have not seen this because it like the pipe is fucked. It's like completely fucked.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was L number one. But then things got better. Played a little. You remember the game Pagel?
Yeah, I
It
never
was like
played it, but
it's
I
like a
remember
puzzle
it.
game. So me and my at the time in college, I had a friend. Her name was Lauren, and we would be at our fraternity parties and we'd play Pagel. We recently like reconnected and we were playing Pagel on Xbox Live. Kicked the shit out of her. So
Attaboy, proud of
gotcha.
you.
Yeah, domination. She only took a couple games when she changed the rules. Where before we were playing, it was like 2 separate screens, and then it was one. And if you go first in this game, you have a complete advantage. It's like fucking tic tac toe. Like I don't know anyone who's lost tic tac toe going first. I think that's like almost
since
hard
I've
to
become
do.
an adult. I think I've pulled a draw at every single game of tic tac toe. It's a really stupid game.
Yeah, it's really tough. But yeah, imagine going first and losing. Like that would be like playing Peggle.
Ridiculous.
So, but overall, that was a good time. Then we're gonna get to the adventures of my buddy Adam, because he has dragged us on some fucking adventures over this time period. So he's been on Facebook Marketplace. I'm debating if we should ban Facebook Marketplace for him or not. It's 50-50. So one day he sends me a message of an HD CRT. He's like, "Hey, is a Sony Trinitron a good TV?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a pretty good TV. It's like kind of described as like the Cadillac of the CRT world for you retro gamers. And especially now HD CRTs are getting really in style because it's the best way to play like PS3, Xbox 360, PS2, Xbox, like that kind of generation of games. Those HD CRTs with the component and are a pretty good way to play them. And like I said, now people are even using HD CRTs as like computer monitors.
It's crazy.
Now, which I think that's nuts, but do you? So the next day I get off work. I'm, here in my little room that's temporary. And he goes, "Hey, come upstairs. I gotta show you something." I'm like, okay. This fucker goes and gets this TV. Like he went and picked it up. He got it completely for free.
Oh, wow.
So there's a video. It's on the Alpha Nerd channel or on the Alpha Nerd Facebook page. And, so I'm like, well, where am I going to put this TV? Because we don't have any room for it. So I'm like, all right, we're going to take it to my storage unit. So we take it to my storage unit, get it set up, and I proceed to lose the key to the storage unit. So I don't know where that key is. So there's that.
That sucks.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, whatever, we'll find it. So that's adventure number 1. Adventure number 2. Adam goes, "Hey, I talked to somebody on Facebook Marketplace. They're advertising this Nintendo Switch it was a Pokemon one for free. I'm gonna go down to Baltimore. And pick it up." I'm like, I look at him. I'm like, "Adam, this isn't free. Like, there's no way this person's
about to get robbed in Baltimore."
So it gets better. So he he messages them. He's like, confirms like, "Is it free? Do you want like what's the price? I'm willing to pay. I'm willing to pay for it." And like, no, it's free. He's like, "Just pay for shipping." He's like, "It'd probably be easier for me just to come get it. Baltimore's only an hour and a half away." So they give us this address. I'm like, man, that's fucking weird. So
I would never do that.
Well, we did it. He goes, "Would you be willing to come with me?" I'm like, "Well, I got to make sure this motherfucker doesn't get murdered." So all right, let's go. God. So I get off work and we get in the car and we drive to fucking Baltimore, Maryland. I almost said Murderland because that's when I worked in a placement. That's what the kids used to call it, Bodymore Murderland.
Might as well be, yeah.
And so we get, we're getting closer and we're getting off 95. And in my head, I go, I guarantee you we're going to go to the fucking hood. We're gonna go to the hood. And I literally messaged my uncle, "Hey, we're going to be in Baltimore. Any good places to eat?" He's like, "Yeah, go here, go here, go here. Just make sure you don't go to the hood." I'm like, "Oh, no, don't worry. We're already there." Cross that one off the list. Yeah, well, so we get there and it's this random like row home that looks like nobody lives in it. And so he goes and knocks on the door and nobody answers. So we wait and wait and wait. And like eventually we're like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. Like, this is dumb. Like we had a feeling. So then he messages the seller, who ghosted him, of course, but they still had the post open. He goes, "I wouldn't be mad, but like I'm offended that you didn't even have the audacity to rob me." Like
they probably already robbed someone earlier that day, and then they got what they needed, and they were eating at McDonald's or something. Like, yeah, we fucking got them. I can't believe you guys did this. This is crazy. This is absurd. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard someone do.
Yeah. I was like,
this is like the red flag number 1, dude. This is like this story. I'm sorry. Is the story over or?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, we ended up getting a bowl of ramen in the Inner Harbor because fuck it, why not? But yeah, overall, big stinky L.
This reminds me of this story that happened to my dad's friend's son. He was on Tinder and
oh no,
got Tinder robbed. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's essentially these group of guys. They pretend to be girls and they'll flirt with dudes and whatnot. And they'll be like, hey, meet me at the parking lot and we'll go on a date or we'll hook up or whatever. So this kid did it and he got in the car and these guys beat the shit out of him and stole all his money and wallet and stuff like that. And it's like a really successful like racket because what do you do on a date, right? You bring your nicest shoes, like probably your watch, your necklace, like all your money in your wallet.
I have a question though. So how do dudes fall for this?
I mean, it's sort of like the Pokemon Go scams, right? Like these guys lure people into a secluded area. This guy thinks he's going on a date, and then like dudes pop out and surprise him and rob him.
I guess my question would be like, how are these guys posing as these women? Like, are they posting like stock photos that like clearly don't look like? Are they taking random photos from like Facebook friends? And, like, because like at some point, so let's say I'm on Tinder, right? And like when you go on Tinder, there are certain girls who look like real people, and then there are certain girls damn well are not.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And 99% of the time, they're just a bot trying to steal your identity, right? And
correct.
You can kind of sniff it out. They're like really bad English or whatever. But if it was like, I mean, you don't know everybody, right? They could have put up they could have taken a Tinder screenshot of a girl in Alabama or Oklahoma or something like that are real, and then I don't know. I can see people falling for it, but dad goes, hey, he wants you to train his son in martial arts. This doesn't happen again. I'm like,
villain arc.
I'm like, that I can't train someone to like not get jumped by 4 guys. Like, that's not how that works. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if I got jumped by 4 grown men, I'd probably get my ass whooped too. I mean, almost certainly, unless they're giant pussies. But speaking of getting jumped, Pedro, I have gotten a lot of mileage out of something today, and I think you're gonna love this.
Okay.
So, as you know, my sister is a very hardcore Christian.
Correct.
Her whole family, right?
Yeah.
Well, I found out a little while ago, but I was reminded of it today, that in the Old Testament, God loses a wrestling match to a random guy named Jacob.
Okay.
So this absolute alpha male, maybe the most alpha male in history, out wrestles the almighty creator of the universe, God. And this story goes that he was walking up a hill and God got the jump on him, surprised him jumping outside a bush, right?
What the fuck?
Yeah. And Jacob wrestles him, gets him in a headlock, and won't let go. To the point where this slimy ass Jehovah fella, just magically dislocates Jacob's hip to try and cheat. Oh. And Jacob still won't let go. And he goes, I'm not letting you go until you bless me.
What the fuck?
So he gets God's blessing and then let's go. But I told Emily, I was like, if this guy from back then, this malnourished, untrained motherfucker can out wrestle God, you best believe that you're dating, or not you're dating, my sister, your brother can out wrestle God himself. So what I've been doing is sending her screenshots of dudes doing wrestling moves and photoshopping Jesus' face on all of them and my face.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Sending Jesus to the crucifix,
Oh my God.
She hasn't responded to me in hours.
Yep. Yeah, probably. She probably hates you right now. That's amazing. I have a couple questions. Like, why was he in the bushes? Like, what, like,
I don't remember.
Well,
because the story, everyone quotes it in like the second part of the story where he's already wrestling. And this guy Jacob, by the way, absolute chat.
You bless me.
He has 2 wives, 11 sons.
Oh,
no,
maybe that's why he jumped out of the bushes. He was trying to smite him.
He has 2 wives, 2 female servants, and 11 sons.
The fuck did he need a blessing for?
Exactly.
Then again, I'll be honest with you. You ever notice with some of these religions, right? Why would he want multiple wives? Why? Why would you want to live like that? Could you imagine, right? You have your 2 wives and you get home and you're like, "Hey, what's wrong?" "Oh, it's nothing." And they both say it.
Yeah, you gotta deal with both of them. It was funny, dude, because it's the reason I was reminded of this is because I was messing with this Muslim guy on Twitter earlier because
Okay.
he commented on a picture of a homeless veteran in the streets, and it rubbed me the wrong way, right? And because he was talking about being Muslim, so I was like, why are you following the most boring god? When you could be following a cool god like Zeus, throwing lightning bolts and shit. And we went back and forth a little bit. And I was just like,
He's probably
I was just,
really mad at you.
I was like, Zeus solos your god. Your god is the same old Christian god from the Old Testament, and he lost a wrestling match to a mortal. And he's like, Judgment Day is coming. You need to open your heart to the Lord.
Oh, okay. Thanks, buddy.
I just replied to him a picture of like yoked Zeus with lightning bolts in his hands. I mean, it's true though, right? I mean, it's true. Like, for some reason, the most prominent religions on earth, their gods are super boring. Like, what is going on here? Why did our gods become so boring all of a sudden?
Probably because the other ones had like penchants to be dicks throughout like the history. Like,
dude, so does the Old Testament God. According to them, he flooded the earth and killed all of humanity except for Abraham or whoever the fuck it was.
That's why they made a new one.
Yeah. The old one was a little too metal.
Yeah, the old one, like, all right, oh man, good stuff.
So, anything else going on with you, Pedro?
No, just other than that, man, like I said, I've just really been going balls deep in Kaseki. All right.
Deep. So before we start that, I want to hijack the show.
Hijack the show, my man.
Because I've been thinking about this since I left. I want to start doing this segment where I drop you a hypothetical situation.
Okay.
I want to see what you would do in this hypothetical situation. All right,
hit me with it. What's up? What do you got for me?
This hypothetical situation is that you're driving across the bridge.
Okay.
And this guy cuts you off in the car in front of you. All right.
Okay.
You get out in the stoplight. You honk at him or whatever. He gets out, dressed in a red gi, blonde hair.
Oh, he's Ken. He's Ken Masters.
You immediately recognize this as a guy you think is cosplaying Ken Masters. So you get out, and he actually hits you with a Hadouken. What do you do? Now, this is you. This is the hypothetical version of you. This is you. Like, what do you do if you're hit with a Hadouken?
Probably apologize, get back in my car and cry. I can't fight projectiles.
I don't know what the fuck I would do.
Yeah, no, I would. I don't even know if I'd eat the Hadouken. Would that kill me? Like,
I'm imagining like a lighter, almost like a Dan.
Oh, he hit me. Oh,
just enough to knock you over. Just enough to like.
Well, all right. Here's probably what I would really do. So, like, he'd probably hit me with it. If it was a Dan Hadouken, he'd probably hit me with it. I'd fall down or something, react to it. I'm like, what the fuck was that? I get up, come at him again, and then probably get my ass kicked.
Yeah,
I don't think that would register at first.
If I saw someone dressed like Ken, and I saw them have any sort of energy around them, I think I'm immediately recognizing that this is a real situation, and I think I would just stand there in shock. Right? I mean, this is the, what are they called? The World Warrior?
Yeah, the World Warrior. Yeah, correct. You'd probably I think you'd probably fight him.
I would not fight him.
So you don't think say like you're coming at him and he hits you with a Hadouken. You don't think like your brain's not going to register that's what that was. Like you're going to feel like you tripped. Like hold on. There's you know what I mean. There's no way you're going to just be like, nope, I'm out.
I don't. I would be so curious. I'd be like, what is going on here? You know, like what is going on? And you need to talk to me. I think I would immediately let down my attack, you know? And I'd be like, we need to have a conversation, sir. Because, like, you know some shit. So, as you know, when I was younger,
yes,
I was a Ryu and Akuma guy.
Yes.
I think as I get older, I'm becoming more of a Ken guy. I like Ken.
Okay.
And I think
I've always been a Ken guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ken's cooler. he's got the personality. Ryu is just kind of boring these days. They haven't done with anything. Because Ken's always had more of a personality, but Ryu's kind of like the cool, like silent guy.
Yeah.
But eventually, you got to give him some sort of character development. He never did. So,
yeah. Funny story about Ken. When you and I played Street Fighter the one time, or no, we played a couple times, but there's one specific time I hit you with a specific Ken combo. You're like, "Oh my god, I can tell you've been playing Ken for years."
Yeah. And I remember which one it was, and it was because it wasn't a real combo. You connected two combos together, and like you had the timing down perfectly. And I was just like, "This is the worst night of my life."
Yes,
because I want you to know every once in a while, because I still love the Street Fighter, like idea of Street Fighter. Every once in a while, I think about it. I'm like, I wish I could play Street Fighter. And I can't do it. Like you really did break me that day, and I'm just like, I realize now that I'm not the fighting game guy. I don't have the brain for it. I don't have the brain and the commitment.
I feel like there was a time I unofficially retired myself, and I remember it was on my own birthday. It was at the house when we were living in Lockhaven.
Yeah.
And I was really, really drunk. And I just kept taking challengers in Street Fighter. It was at like my 29th birthday. I kept just taking, like, I forget, it was like Jake, Watson, Robert, a couple of the GameStop people. And I was just going through them really drunk.
Yeah, just not even thinking.
And I'm like, after the next day, I'm like, you know what? It's probably time to stop.
Because before I met you and all my groups of friends, I was the Street Fighter guy, right? I was the Street Fighter guy. When I've told this story before, when Gears it was Gears 3. When Gears 3 launched and we had the midnight launch at GameStop, I was running the Street Fighter competition table. And I was taking challengers. I was just people were coming at me and I was just beating the shit out of them. And I was like, I am awesome at this game. I'm the shit at Street Fighter. Because people don't realize I did not grow up in that environment, right? I grew up at my dad's house in the middle of the fucking woods just playing AI Street Fighter. I didn't have any real people to play against, right? Mm-hmm. So in my mind, like I'm beating Street Fighter on the hardest difficulty, or Street Fighter 4, right? I'm unlocking Gauken, Akuma. Is that how you pronounce his name? Gauken?
Yeah. Gauken, yeah.
And those were pretty hard tasks, by the way, back in the day.
Correct.
Like unlocking Gauken was like insanely difficult, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
I knew how to do the Wrath of the Raging Demon, by memory. And I was just laying people out in Street Fighter 4. And then I come across you, and you just like you make mincemeat of me, like you beat me to death. And there was just two little different levels of skill there, right? Like I hadn't gotten used to playing against like skilled opponents. I was only used to playing against the AI, which is very different, right? The AI can't strategize. It doesn't know like boxing people in and stuff.
Correct.
It's very different. Wasn't used to it. Yeah, I'm not the Street Fighter guy anymore.
I do remember that because I was just like child's play.
Yeah. Like, you ended my Street Fighter career in one night.
Yeah, sometimes that's happen. Fun fact, somewhere down the road, we're going to have the infamous uncle of mine who wipes the floor with me at Street Fighter on the show. And he's
that needs to happen.
I've messaged him about being on the show. He's like, absolutely.
Now, how come you never, I mean, I know you dabbled with it. How come you never became a, what's the SNK one with Terry?
Fatal Fury.
How come you never became a Fatal Fury guy? What was it about Street Fighter that got you instead of Fatal Fury?
I just grew up with it, and then so Fatal Fury, like the button scheme being different, and the original Fatal Fury games, you fight on different planes on like a 2D on a 2D or two different levels on the 2D plane. So like there's a foreground and the background. And like that shit was too complicated for my fucking teeny weeny little brain there. And there's certain strategy. So when you play like the original King of Fighters and even the original Fatal Furies, they were 3-on-3 battles. So like you had your opener, your middle, and then your sweeper. Like your guy, like so you would play your best guy. Like some of the strategies, you could be your best guy last or first, because then as you progress to the rest of your team, your skill goes down because you're not as good with those characters. So like that was way too much fucking meta for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm a King of Fighters guy, not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I can hold my own.
and so like with your love of fighting games, I feel like you're not playing them anymore. You're not jumping into any of the Blaze Blues
No,
or Guilty Gears or
no.
what's going on here? Well, how come these games don't appeal to you?
These hands have gotten old.
Oh, you just
Like,
you can't operate the same level anymore.
no, yeah, no, I can't do it. Like I'll play a fighting game, like, and you'll see me if I play, I'll be like this after like a couple matches because like my hands are fucking hurting. So yeah, the skill has like slowly diminished.
Oh
So
no. So
correct.
you are just absolutely completely not picking up Street Fighter 6. It's not happening.
Okay, so for me, that famous fat fucking L I took with Street Fighter 5 still resonates with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wait for the reviews to come out. Maybe if there's a trial, I'll dabble in it and then wait for a sale. But like, you're not, until you show me that it's worth that $70 price point day one out of the box, which I don't feel like it will be. Especially if you're gonna roll out certain characters later. I haven't really been following Street Fighter 5 because I don't want to piss myself off. Because I'm already very skeptical about the open world stuff.
Right.
Very skeptical. But if I see the game is quality and it's got like the blessing of the community around it, and it makes it to Evo, even, I'll probably get it. But I remain skeptical at best. Because
Interesting.
that's when, excuse me, Street Fighter 5 coming out being shitty, and then Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite coming out being shitty. 2 L's you can't give me.
Now, here's the thing about that though. Different Capcom.
Yeah.
Capcom rose from the ground like the Undertaker after WrestleMania 21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you trust them?
They're back. They're
You
back
trust
in the
them?
game. Right now I do. They're gonna fall again. They're gonna get too cocky and they're gonna drop some balls.
Yeah.
But right now I feel like they're fighting like Sony did in 2008. They're like, we got something to prove and we're back. You know, Colin Moriarty talks about this all the time. It's the Capcom resurgence with like Resident Evil and Devil May Cry is coming back, and like,
Yeah.
dude, Devil May Cry 5, best action game of all time. Straight up just action game, crazy.
I have a confession to make. I've only played Devil May Cry. Actually, the only Devil May Cry I've ever beaten is DMC.
Well, that was the most accessible one when we were adults. Did you go back and play 4 or you should play 5? I think you like 5.
I want to go through the entire series. I just like it's been spoiled
no,
so fucking hard for me that like I really know what happens.
No, you don't. You don't want to go through the series. Play 3, 4, and 5.
Why shouldn't I play the first Devil May Cry?
It's just it hasn't aged well. It's an action game that was originally supposed to be a Resident Evil game, and then you have 2, which was terrible in the time.
I heard people hate Devil May Cry 2. I like literally.
Sucks.
You know what's weird?
Shit.
I have a weird memory of Devil May Cry 2. Like I never played it, but there was this game store in New York, in Yonkers, where I used to live there, called Funko Game Land. Or no, YK Game Land. YK Game Land, not Funko Land. YK Game Land. And it was run by this little, I wouldn't say, okay, that was racist. It was run by this Oriental family. And yeah, that came out wrong. But it was run by this Oriental family, and I remember they would always have like the new releases like playing on the TV, and I remember just seeing Devil May Cry, and then like they would let people get like a demo time with it. They like let you try it. So this kid comes in, and he like basically beats the entire first area, and they kept letting him play because they're like, huh, this looks interesting. Maybe people will buy it if they see more of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat there and watched like the first 2 hours basically.
Oh wow.
And this kid like beat like an infected helicopter. I'm like, yo, this game's sick. And then like now, but I never bought it, obviously. Yeah. I think I bought like The Legend of Zelda or some dumb shit that day. And then now I hear like Devil May Cry 2 is a fucking turd. Yeah, so I feel terrible. Like my radars were just way off with the Devil May Cry series.
It's so like I would consider. I like DMC. I would consider Devil May Cry 1 an average action game, in terms of quality. 2 is bad. 3 is a legendary action game. 4 as well. And then now we thought it was done. We thought because canonically Devil May Cry 2 took place last.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, okay, well, they haven't touched the game in a decade. So, DMC is probably dead because that reboot in 2013 or whatever was so bad.
I don't think that was a bad game.
Yeah, but it was so like the thing about it though is that it was a blatant disrespectful spit in the face to the fans of the series.
I agree with that. They fucking made definitely.
So like you're right. It was, as far as gameplay goes, it was an incredible action game. But no one wanted a reboot because Devil May Cry 2 ends off on a fucking cliffhanger. So these assholes at Capcom, they made 4 games in a series, and the second one left off on a cliffhanger. That was the last one in the timeline, and then they're like, "We're just gonna reboot it." So no shit, everyone was pissed.
Yeah,
And yeah, sure, but they made it a good action game.
I always thought it was a little bit.
Anyway.
I always thought it was a little bit ham-fisted though. That was always my big knock on that game. Like, and I don't know if Devil May Cry is supposed to be very ham-fisted with just the way they stuff they do, but like there was just like certain areas of the game where like he would say something smart, and then like the enemy letter or the enemy would be either responding, or I don't know if it was like Mundus responding, or just say like on big screens, "Fuck you, Dante," and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay.
No, the other games in the series are not like that, and I don't understand why. I think because they were trying to make a very Western approach to DMC.
Yeah, I wouldn't
as a term, because like Devil May Cry is a very Japanese action game. It's very Japanese, but DMC feels a little more like Western in terms of like its messaging. It's very political. It's very like anti capitalist type of thing going on, and it's like very weird. Don't miss that at all. I think they did made a good decision by going back in 5, because 5 is, in my opinion, the best action game of all time. I think it blows Nier out of the water. I think it blows Revengeance out of the water. It's just
Metal Gear Solid.
It's just very smooth. It's very like the things you can do in that game are insane, and I can't wait for them to make the next one. But what were we talking about? Oh, Capcom, Street Fighter. Mm-hmm. So you will pick it up if it's good.
If I get the blessing from, like, usually I trust fighting game communities. You can really trust, like, if there's discourse, there's usually a good reason for it,
right?
Because like fighting games communities, like if they love a game, if they love a fighter, they'll keep that game vibrant for years after it's come out. So you look at your Street Fighter 2 for years was like the number one fighting game for fucking ever. Then Street Fighter 3, then Third Strike, which I don't know if people still play Third Strike, but for years they used to play it. Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which people still play, and that came out how long ago? Obviously Melee, like, so there's like so again, when the fighting game like embraces a game and it gets like a stamp of approval, like people fuck with it, then like it'll be there for years, and like that's kind of a big indicator to me. It's time to get back in.
I just remember thinking that Street Fighter 5 didn't need to exist.
I agree. Street Fighter 4 was so good.
Not only was it good, they had made several iterations of Street Fighter 4 with a ton of characters, and then Street Fighter 5 came out, and it didn't it didn't look any better. Or I mean, maybe marginally, right? And then like they just stripped all the characters out, and it looked like the gameplay was almost exactly the same. I didn't fuck with it.
And then they would give you season passes. That was like that fuck. I hate that era of gaming, to be honest with you. Everything was on a season pass and fucking deals. Ugh, fuck you, old Capcom.
All right, what have you been playing, buddy? Like let's move
on. Besides,
I was trying to say buddy, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. Everyone knows the truth. So I've been playing balls deep in the Kaseki series. Balls fucking deep.
Tell me about it.
So while you were gone, I finished Trails in the Third. I finished that.
What did you think of it? Was it worth it?
As a fan of the series, I would say yes. I also don't see how you would be able to skip this game. I don't like whoever's telling you to skip it is wrong. You can't skip this game. Some stuff happens in this game that is directly correlated to Trails from Zero.
Interesting.
Like they allude to it. Like you can't. Like I don't know how. I don't know. I guess maybe significance wise, maybe I'm taking it into heart too much, but yeah, Trails in the Third probably has my favorite soundtrack in the entire series.
Yeah, very good.
Very good soundtrack. At first I liked the cast of characters, then towards the end I got annoyed because like I thought they were gonna like keep some of the more prominent characters out of it. It was gonna be more of a side story for like the kind of less used characters. But then they did what they were a little predictable there. So that I didn't like. And I thought they were a little ham-fisted with who certain villains were. So, but that's like slight knocks. But overall, great game. Then I jumped into Trails from Zero. This Crossbell arc, man.
I've heard it's amazing.
It's pretty good. It's pretty damn good, I will say. I used to not like Lloyd like at all.
Yeah.
I didn't really care for Lloyd. I'm more of a Randy guy. But Lloyd's grown on me. That entire crew's grown on me. And then like some of the other characters you end up meeting, some of the bracers you end up meeting are badasses, which is fun. And I think that game it does a really good job of building Crossbell. It's not a slow burn. It's kind of its pacing's really good.
Good.
But then like Trails to Azure though, this game is fucking awesome. This game is like probably my second favorite Trails game.
Wow.
So yeah, it's like fucking badass, and then like you get some new characters, and I like using them, and like you're starting to get used to the Enigma system, which is similar to what's in Cold Steel. Like that's the one we understand really the best. And so like now I've got like super broken character builds.
Nice.
Yeah, now I look forward to bosses like, oh, I'm gonna wreck you in about 3 turns. You're dead.
That's the best part of like the modern Trails games. This is like just breaking them. Yeah.
But I will say, Trails to Azure, we'll have a boss that will break you specifically.
Oh God.
It's I sent you a message bitching about it. There's a fight with a certain member of Ouroboros, and it's the worst fight in the series because of the mechanics.
Ah, God.
And I know, like literally, when I did it, I thought of you immediately. I'm like, he is gonna fucking hate this.
I'm sure it's like, I mean, you know all my weaknesses. You know like the things that annoy me, so I can only imagine.
Yeah, this one gonna get you because it even annoyed me.
Well, it's interesting because you told me who it was, and I'm like, wow, this guy, he kind of goes down like a bitch in Sky and in Cold Steel. So,
well, you know what I realized? You don't actually even get hands on him until Cold Steel. Like you don't actually even fight him. Like you fight shit. He fucks with you the entire time, but you don't actually.
Just say you fought him in Azure?
Yeah, but not really.
Oh, I thought didn't you fight him in Sky as well? Wasn't he a boss fight?
Yeah, but not really.
Oh, okay.
So he like summons some shit. Yeah, there's fuckery with him, and here's where I'm starting to take issue with him. By the way, is there's too much fuckery. Like I'm like, what? So this guy has popped up in every single arc. He's popped up in the Liberl arc. Mm-hmm. He's popped up in the Crossbell arc, and then we definitely know his ass is in the Arabonia arc. Like, what is the payoff? What's the fucking payoff with this guy? Yeah. Why does he do what he does? Because every other member of Ouroboros, you kind of get their backstory. You kind of get like kind of what makes them who they are. Like every single one of them has darkness in them, as they say.
Some of them I don't buy so much, by the way. Some of them I'm like, your story's a little sus, right? Like the Maiden in Cold Steel 4. I guess the whole Cold Steel series. I'm like, I don't want to spoil that because you don't really find out about her until I think 3. Yeah. But I'm like,
well, actually,
I think your story's a little stupid.
You actually find out about her a little bit more in Crossbell. I will say that.
Yeah. Wow. The screenshot you sent me the other day of the Crossbell arc, blew my mind. I was like, that changes the whole perspective going into Cold Steel.
Yeah.
Like we really
got robbed.
Yeah, we got robbed. Really. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, and like so I'm frustrated because like how do you so they're putting all the games out now, right? Like they're for the most part as of July 7th, every arc that's available minus the Calvart stuff will be readily available, debatably with the PC stuff. I don't know if that's like completely accessible, but we'll give it to them. You can literally play them all in order now. So like if you're watching this show, first, thank you. B, start with the Liberl arc. Don't fuck around. Don't buy Cold Steel at first. Start with the Liberl arc. Then you go to Crossbell, wrap it up with Arabonia, Trails into Reverie. That's what you should do.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it actually makes me sad that I didn't do that. You know, I'm like, damn, I really missed out on like some great storytelling.
Yeah. You more so than me because you always had a PC.
Yeah, I could have done it.
You could have.
But there was always this weird thing about playing RPGs on PC for me for the longest time, where I'm like, that doesn't seem right. I don't want to do that. I want to play them on my PS4. But
yeah,
I got over it, and I
yeah.
loved the
So
Sky Arc. I think the Sky Arc was phenomenal.
I thought the Sky Arc is actually, and I'm a reformist, I guess, but the Sky Arc's definitely better than the Erebony Arc.
Oh, for sure, it's crazy. Like I saw someone saying, and I agree with him because he had just started playing Kuro, and he's like, I can't believe the same people that wrote Sky, Crossbell, and Kuro wrote Cold Steel, because the pacing is completely different on them.
Yeah. So I will say, Crossbell, that arc, it hasn't had the payoff moment for me yet, though. And that's what I'm looking for, though. I'm looking for that fucking moment where I'm like, oh, all right. Like, I feel like they're leading me up to something, and I don't know, because what the Cold Steel arc did for me, it had those like payoff moments for me. Like, you would encounter certain villains or certain characters, and like they're like, yeah, let's basically let's go. Like, yeah, let's do this. Let's trade some hands here. And we haven't really had that moment yet in the Crossbell games.
The one thing that does drive me nuts about the Kasekis, though, is that the boss battles don't reflect the story. You know, because like you could absolutely obliterate a boss.
Correct.
And in the cutscene afterwards, your characters are like strewn about the floor, like, oh my god. And it's like, well, that's not what happened.
We just kicked the shit out of this guy.
And also, if that's what you wanted to happen, why didn't you just make one of those like mock boss fights where he wipes you out in a turn or two? You know, like why are we doing this? So that is like one of the biggest complaints I have with Kaseki, because it happens a lot. It happens but whatever.
Now I will say, when you play, you still haven't finished the third, right?
I'm like 10 hours in.
Yeah, so you got some work to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna run into a boss fight that's gonna fucking wipe the floor with you.
I'm used to it by now.
Yeah, like, this dude is a fucking cartoon character. This fucking guy, man. Like, and you'll probably know who it is, or you probably have an idea who it is. But yeah, you run into a certain guy who just kicks the shit out of you, and it's like not even fucking close. Like, and like that arc I specifically I don't like, because they had that weird mechanic where bosses immediately would cast an S-craft right at the beginning of a fight and just fucking decimate your team.
Nonsense. It's like the team that makes the Kaseki games. They're like, how can we make our RPG harder? But they don't do it by making the game harder. They do it by like adding bullshit boss mechanics, like the bosses in Cold Steel. I think it was Cold Steel 3 or 4, where every single boss, when you get them down to like 10%, they start regenerate health and stuff. And I'm like, yo, this is annoying. Stop that.
Yeah. Here's the other thing I've noticed with with all these games is, aside from like a handful of guys, maybe one person that I can really think of, nobody really dies.
That does bother me. That I take that back. That is the other complaint I have.
It's like comic books.
Frustrates the shit out of me, because they have like these really deep introspective moments about characters like dying or like getting defeated, and then they're back. It's like, stop that, please. Fuck. Just like make your choices matter, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so there's that, and then I haven't decided who my favorite Trails character is now. Like, I'm so conflicted. Like, so I'm to the point where like in each arc I have my favorite characters.
I can tell you this: Reen has fallen way down.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm like, get out of here. You don't even deserve to be on the top 10.
Yeah. No, he my man fell right off the ladder, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, because he's like a less interesting version of Jacob.
Yeah. He also, I don't like Joshua. Not a Joshua guy.
That's who I meant to say, Joshua.
Yeah,
you don't like Joshua?
I don't like him for a couple reasons, but my number one reason I give him a pass. He gets a pass. I don't personally like him, but I don't hate him. He gets a pass because like his character was written in that like era of where male protagonists had to be like emo edgelords for a while there. So he gets a pass there, but then they turned him into a simp.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
So yeah, no, I'm not a Joshua guy. My favorite character probably is Olivier.
Yeah, I can see that. He fits your personality.
Yeah, he's funny. Like he's one of the few characters ever in an RPG who like legitimately makes me laugh.
Very strikingly similar to Pierre from Chrono Cross as well.
Yes,
by the way. So yeah, I can see how that fits.
I was actually telling Rochelle about our Pierre story, and she like fucking. I could sense the judgment coming from the texts.
Oh my god, I can only imagine what her reaction was because she's maybe the second authority figure I would consult for like chrono expertise. And yeah, it's crazy. I guess I never really think about the Rochelle thing very often, but what are the odds, right, that like me and her ended up dating?
Correct. Over Chrono Cross.
Over Chrono Cross, which is by all means like a really obscure RPG from the PS1 era.
Yeah.
And we just randomly like happened because honestly, I swear to God, I don't know anybody else from like Pennsylvania, like in person. That's like a Chrono Cross super fan, except for her.
I know. You two are the only ones I know.
Weird, and she just randomly walked into Elite Games one day. Very strange. But
walked into Elite Games, never walked out. Shout out to Rochelle.
Longevity. Well, she had a brief respite from Elite Games. Remember?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And then she walked back in.
Yeah, she's back. Yes. But so I told her that story, and I also told her that kid couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. So yeah,
has bad luck. I don't know how I feel looking back at the Chrono Cross growth mechanics. I always thought they were fun and like different, but now after that because the last time me and you beat it was the last time I went through it. Mm-hmm. I kind of see the flaws in that system because your kid was absolutely completely useless.
Yeah,
she couldn't hit anything based on the fact that her accuracy stat never grew in the background. So
it was comical uselessness.
Yeah.
Good stuff. But so yeah, I like Olivia. I love Randy, and it makes me mad that like I fucking didn't get the chance to play the Crossbell arc before Cold Steel, because like when he pops up in the third game, I'm like, who the fuck is this redheaded asshole? Like I don't like, you know what I mean? But now like that I know him, like I'm like, oh, I love this character. He's my favorite character him and Wazzy are my favorite characters in the Crossbell arc.
I see. I'm not familiar with Wazzy.
He pops up in the fourth game too, but you have no idea who the fuck he is until you play Crossbell. So like
really,
yeah, I think you see him or they talk about him.
Why is it Wazey?
Yeah, Wazey.
Kiseki.
Now don't make sure you don't spoil yourself.
Wazzy Hemisphere. You're sure he was in Cold Steel 4?
He pops up at like I don't know if you get to use him, but I know he like makes an appearance or he's mentioned. They definitely talk about him.
He's indirectly mentioned by Thomas Lysander. Does that guy pop up in the Crossbell arc at all?
Not yet.
Because he's the one guy. He's the one guy who I'm like these characters seem to know him, and he pops up a lot. And
he like popped up yet.
He like never shows up. In anything else.
And then the other thing, like Kevin, he's one who doesn't really pop up in the Arabonia arc at all. Like until like
that is true. Kevin like never shows up, and he's cool. I like Kevin.
Yeah, so it's just like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm hoping Trails in the Reverie is the payoff for me.
I've heard it's good.
Yeah, I've been on media blackout, but like I said, Trails to Azure, my second favorite Trails game. I'm still a Cold Steel 3 guy. But
me too, actually.
Yeah.
People shit on Cold Steel 3. I think Cold Steel 3 is actually phenomenal.
Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah, I think it's probably the best in the Arabonia arc, personally. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. So I see here you got some games you've been playing, buddy. What's going on?
Yes. So the first one I want to talk about is the one that I've been putting the most time into, and that is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Now, I took a fat L, Pedro.
Yeah, you did.
I took a fat L. Well, I took 2 fat L's. The first one I took is we Disney's a very exhausting vacation. Have you ever gone to Disney for like a vacation by itself?
Not like stayed the entire time at Disney, no, but I've been there.
Yeah. So like when you do like a multi-day trip at Disney, it's like exhausting because there's a lot to manage. There's a lot to do. People try to pack as much as possible, and so when we stayed there for 2 weeks, we knew we were going to have to pack to schedule in some rest days, and thank God we did because Caitlin ended up getting sick, and we needed them. But I was like, I'm gonna have some downtime. I brought my Steam Deck. I brought my Switch. I brought my remote play controller
Yeah.
that I
Okay.
got. And right before I left, so Jedi Survivor came out like a couple days
Mhm.
before I left. Right before I left, that morning, I tested my remote play, made sure it worked, made sure everything was silky smooth. I got a power outage a couple hours after we left.
No.
So my PS5 was
L.
off and it wouldn't fucking start up from remote play. So that whole time I was down in Florida, I was like, damn, I really want to play Jedi Survivor. And I just couldn't do it. It was
Fucking
really
A.
frustrating. So this whole time when I've been back, every chance I have when I've been down, I've been playing Jedi Survivor, and I'm having a blast with it, man. I'm doing all the side quests just because I want to. Um, I'm at the point in the game now where I'm starting to feel like a real badass, which I think happens a lot earlier than in Fallen Order.
Okay.
And I'm having a blast with it. There's a lot more customizability with your characters. There's a lot more characters in general in the game. Um, the one thing I will say though, story a little slow. It's not the
Mhm.
story's not moving at a pace that I would like it to move in. I think I'm in the third or fourth chapter of the game so far. Not picking up. There's been one major event that happened in the story, and it's like find out what's happening later. And that's kind of like the whole. And it's like okay, that's great. No, so
Find out what's
um,
happening later.
yeah, pretty much. I don't know, but other than that, the weird thing about this game, now everyone's talking about the performance of this game, right, and how it came out and it was not performing well. I think it's pretty clear that they wanted to jump off the hype of May the Fourth be with you, the holiday,
Uh huh.
and that's why they pushed it out this time. Also, I think they wanted to get it out before Tears of the Kingdom came out because I think for some reason gaming is industry is just scared of each other. I never really understood that because it's close enough that it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Anyway, um, the game seems to have come out in a pretty incomplete state, especially on PC. I played it on PS5. The weird thing about this is that the performance mode runs worse than the quality mode. So the performance mode, the PS5 really pushes to try and get to 60 frames, which ends up giving you frame drops and frame skips,
Mhm.
and it drops
Shout out.
down, and yeah, and the frame rate jumps all over the place, down to like 35, up to 60, down all over the place. It's like a really jarring experience. It's almost unplayable in my opinion.
Yikes.
And but when you put it to quality, solid 30. So that's how I've been playing it and having a really good experience. And as far as I know, that's what Austin was doing. And he's like, well, yeah, now that I told him about this, and he's like, yeah, now I'm having like a decent time with the game because it's actually playable. Because these are like, I don't want to say they're Souls like games. I would say they're like
Yeah.
Souls light.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
need like your parry timing and stuff. You
And
can't
if it's
do that if
fucked,
the
yeah, you're gonna
yeah, you
struggle.
can't do that if the game's chugging at different frame rates. It's just it's not a good experience for action games. Um, so if you're playing Jedi Survivor right now, throw it in quality mode. To anybody listening, just throw it in quality mode until they like fix the performance issues. The game is 150 gigabytes. There has to be a conversation at some point where we're like,
Games are too fucking big.
the games are too big. Like you got to stop. There's nothing in Jedi Survivor that strikes me as 150 gigabytes. I don't understand what the fuck they were doing, but I'm sure the game's pretty, but it's not blowing me away. I don't think it looks phenomenally better than like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I mean isn't a small game, but it's smaller and way bigger than this. I don't know, man, but so far as the combat goes and as far as like the characters go, loving it, having fun. It's not glitchy like Fallen Order was. I think it's a very worthy sequel and follow up to Fallen Order. The next game I've been playing was Xenoblade 3 Future Redeemed, the DLC that came out. Now, this was the game that replaced Jedi Survivor on vacation for me. And like I said, I brought my Switch. On the rest days, I was playing this game. Played it all the way down to there, Florida, on the plane. Played it back, and I actually really enjoy it because it brings back some characters from Xenoblade 1 and 2, and it really ties into the other games. What I was looking for in Xenoblade 3.
Okay.
And I think it's very, very good. I was balls deep in Xenoblade 3 Future Redeemed. And then I took the L of the week, Pedro.
You probably took the L of the year, buddy.
I probably took the L of the year. So the plane's landing, I get all my stuff packed up, and I put my Switch in the front pocket in front of me, and I put my phone in my pocket, and I say to myself, Pedro, this is the problem. I say to myself, this is why I'm fucking medicated. Don't forget your Switch in the pocket. I stand up, grab my backpack, and walk out the plane. And it really did happen that fast. I forgot it that fast. So like, but that was the thing. That's why I'm fucking medicated for ADHD, because like that happened to me all the time, and I wasn't on my medicine because I was in Florida and I had run out and I couldn't get my prescription refilled in Florida. So like that's how it went.
Yeah.
And I lost my OLED Switch, which I had only had for 2 months maybe since Scarlet and Violet. I don't know when Scarlet and Violet came out, but I guess it was longer. It was like 6 months ago. But I barely played it. It was fucking brand new. Like shit. I probably only clocked in 20 hours on it, and then it's gone like that. I don't know. I guess I did play all through Xenoblade 3, so about 100 hours. But
man,
the worst. I put in a missing report on it, but that's fucked. You're never gonna find it. Whoever's found that thing, congratulations. You're welcome.
Fuck.
That's my fault.
Are you gonna buy another one?
No. Here's why.
Here's why. Switches.
You know what else I've been playing? Tears of the Kingdom. All right. Yeah. So I saw how good it ran on Yuzu, the emulators. Fucking played it on the emulators.
Yeah.
And it does run phenomenal. You know what else runs phenomenal? Future Redeemed. But now I'm in the weird state, right? Now I'm in the weird state with Future Redeemed where I was so far in and lost all that progress that I think I have to walk away for a year or two until I'm like I'm ready to confront that, because there's nothing worse in gaming than losing your progress. And due to Nintendo's bullshit online system, they don't back up their things automatically. So
I gotta love it.
That's what's nice about the Steam Deck, dude. And Steam, as soon as you close that game, that shit's uploaded.
Yeah, I love it. I love that about Steam.
Phenomenal. It's uploaded. You never lose your progress.
Right.
Not even Sony does that with PlayStation. Not even the fucking paid PlayStation Plus service does that.
Yeah.
Assholes.
Yeah, that's a tough L, buddy. That's a tough L. I will say Tears of the Kingdom, real quick. It seems to run actually decent on Switch. Like, it's not going to run as well as it would on like a PC, but
it runs the same because it's frame locked at 30.
I think it runs actually fairly well on Switch. From what I've seen my buddy Adam play, like the frame rate's good.
It's a solid 30, I think. But
yeah,
what pisses me off is when developers do this because it's locked, right? So if you unlock it, force unlock it through an emulator, the game speed is tied to the frame rate. So it's kind of annoying. Not every game does that, but Zelda does do that. And I don't know if there's a way to fix it. I'm so far out of like the computer like techie space now that I'm decade behind. I think so. Like, I was a notorious Breath of the Wild hater.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, nothing new here. This is Breath of the Wild 2, all over the place. All right.
Yeah, they added like a crafting mechanic now, right?
And that is the one thing in this game that I'm like interested in.
Yeah.
And I just don't think I'm gonna follow through with it because people are making really cool stuff, but
Yeah.
this is Breath of the Wild 2, and I still don't get it. I don't see how this game is. I think this is now the highest rated game of all time.
No, I thought they were review bombing it now.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't count towards user reviews. What people actually care about. Let me see. I think Tears of the Kingdom is the highest rated game of all time.
That's because anytime a Nintendo game comes out, like you know how people get, man.
Metacritic highest rated games. Let me see. No, Ocarina of Time is still number 1 with 99. That's crazy. That's way too high. And Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 is also at 98 at number 2.
That's awesome. I think Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 rated perfectly.
Really? Are you being facetious?
Yeah, what? No, it's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. It's a good game. It's not a fucking 98, but it's a good game.
They must just rated games differently back then. I always thought they were harsher back then, but that must not be true. Because Grand Theft Auto 4 is a 98, which you can probably make a case for, but I think that's the weakest of the Grand Theft Autos, personally.
Yeah. I'm a Grand Theft Auto 3 guy, but
same.
Back to Tears of the Kingdom. I will say I've watched Adam play for like a little bit, and I see the appeal. It's basically the appeal of every open world game. Like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, shiny. Ooh, what's this? What's that? It's the discovery.
Yeah.
So it's the sense of discovery, and I will give maybe Nintendo some credit where I think they finally made the Zelda game that like they envisioned all those, because it reminds me of the NES Zelda a lot, like where like it doesn't. Because have you played the original Zelda, like NES?
Yes, I'm not understanding this.
So this is why I'm saying this. And I guess most open world games are based like this, but since it's a Zelda game, that's the connection I made. That it doesn't give you any direction where you're supposed to go. You just go frolic. It gives you kind of like some. So like that's why it reminds me of that, and I feel like that maybe they finally got to that original vision that they wanted, minus the fucked up timeline that they retconned. But I felt like they could have made this game way earlier. Like I don't find this game to be revolutionary by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
they like. I don't know. Good for Nintendo. Like I'm sure it runs well. I will give them that. The creativity's cool, and Zelda fans seem to be really happy. So good for everybody involved. We'll still haters here.
That is the one thing I will say that Tears of the Kingdom has is the crafting system seems near limitless, and that is very cool. I'm glad that people are getting so much mileage out of it, and just the creativity. People are like murdering the Koroks in the most horrific ways possible.
Yeah, I saw that. People are being really mean to Koroks.
This is really like awesome. I think that's like, so funny.
Like, why do we hate Koroks? Like, what's the correlation here?
I guess they put you on like really annoying quests. I don't know. I'm only like 3 hours in the game. I'm not gonna keep playing it, but I think I needed to try it and see, because like this is just
you did this with the original Breath of the Wild too. I will respect that you dabble.
I played 40 hours in the original Breath of the Wild. And I was like really trying, because it was the first game I played on my Switch. And I was like really trying. And I was like, I just don't get it, man. I don't see why you would want to play this over like a real RPG. So, a real Western RPG.
So here's where I have a story to tell, specifically with Breath of the Wild. So I have owned a Nintendo Switch since day one. I was a day one adopter. I remember the night it came out, picked mine up with Breath of the Wild and Super Bomberman R. Those were the 2 games I got. And I remember going home, hooking up the Switch, putting in Breath of the Wild, and playing. And I played, I think, about maybe 20 hours of Breath of the Wild. And I remember I made a proclamation in my head. Because at the time, I was in love with Breath of the Wild. Like, this is fucking great. So they got me, but I think they got me because of the excitement of a new Nintendo system, new fresh console, and a fresh Zelda. So I'm liking the game. The exploration's cool. Just it's fresh, and I'm like, this game is the best Zelda game they've put out since Majora's Mask.
Yikes!
Yeah. I said that. I said it. I think I even posted about it, and. Now you look back almost like 10 years later, I'm like, whoa, off the mark, buddy. Swing and a miss.
Yeah.
We don't feel that way now.
I'm a Twilight Princess guy. I still think Twilight
As am
Princess is
I.
my
As am
favorite.
I.
I think
That's
it's
my favorite
phenomenal.
Zelda. That's actually Adam's favorite Zelda too.
It's phenomenal. And I don't know, man.
We're never gonna get a Zelda like that ever again, though.
I still maintain if this game wasn't called Zelda, people would not give a shit about this game. I don't agree that there's no bias in the Zelda community and Nintendo fandom because it doesn't make sense. Nothing about this, like the scoring of Zelda, makes sense. The game is the world feels lifeless and empty, and I don't understand it. There's no fucking background music. Why is there
Yeah.
no background music? I don't
Yeah.
get it. The
You
the,
know
the
what's
combat is not it's the combat is not like amazing, and I what the fuck is going on with these scores? It's a fucking
yeah.
solid 8 out of 10. It's a good game. It's not a perfect game. I don't get it.
No.
Fuck.
My thing also is like Zelda games have done way more creative things than Breath of the Wild though. Like they've been creative. I don't know if you ever played any of the handheld ones, but
Nah.
Link's Awakening is a great fucking game, and they do a lot of cool shit with that, with the stories. Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, Minish Cap, uh, the second Link to the or A Link Between Worlds, where you got the wall mechanic and dart and low rule, and you go through like there's so much stuff they do differently, and even with the mechanics of Majora's Mask, and like they've done more creative shit. Yet like these games seem to, because they adopted more commonplace practices with the gameplay development, it seems like we reward them for that, because like again, Breath of the Wild, while quality, and Tears of the Kingdom quality games, like they've reinvent the wheel. Like
Yeah.
there have been better open world games. Like Horizon's a better open world. Ghost of Tsushima is a better open world game.
Elden
Like
Ring for sure.
Elden Ring, Skyrim, Fallout, all these games have those same mechanics in them that do it better. Or The Witcher, like there are so many games that do what the Zelda game does better than Zelda. Yet this is the game that like gets the fucking all the flowers.
Well, and I have.
I feel like we bitched about this before, but we'll
Well,
do it
yeah,
again.
we do. I can't escape it. I have evidence to support my claim that if this was a Zelda or if this wasn't a Zelda game, no one would like it. And it's that fucking Genshin Impact is almost identical in gameplay to this game. Well, not Tears of the Kingdom, with Breath of the Wild. It's very similar visually, even I would say similar. And people are very split on Genshin Impact. A lot of people hate it. Now it is popular, but it's not popular in the same community.
Yeah.
Also, that stupid Ubisoft game that came out that was a Tears of the Kingdom clone. Hold on.
You're losing me. I don't know.
Was it Ubisoft?
That was a Breath
of the Wild clones. 10 games that copied Breath of the Wild. All right, here we go. We're gonna find this. We're gonna find this. It has to be like number one. I'm finding it. Don't worry. Immortals Phoenix Rising. Immortals Phoenix Rising. It's just it's a Greek mythology version of Breath of the Wild. And
Sonic
people
Frontiers
fucking
is the same way.
despised that game. But first off, the gamer article is disgusting because it puts Horizon Zero Dawn that copied Breath of the Wild when that's stupid because Horizon came out the same exact time.
Poor Horizon, man.
Yeah, poor Horizon. Actually, not Horizon 2 sucks, but
I haven't played it.
Don't waste your time. It's fucking stupid. I actually like the further I get away from that game, the more I despise it. I forced myself through it, and at the time, I'm like, oh, that was okay. But now, the further I'm away, I'm like, the characters are terrible, the story's terrible, the gameplay is great, but it's bogged down by terrible characters and just a world that I do not care about anymore. And I was a big fan of Zero Dawn, and I just fuck that. I'm done. Couldn't stand it. Anyway, where are we at? What's going on?
We kind of went out into the weeds here, but yeah, you were talking about Tears of the Kingdom and your experiences with it, and then we went into a fucking little rabbit hole.
Yeah,
but I see we have a showcase coming up here.
Yeah, so the topics of the show, I wanted to bring up this PlayStation showcase because PlayStation is I believe me and you are still PlayStation guys, right? I mean, it's our community of choice.
Yeah.
I would say I'm more agnostic now than I've ever been in my whole life.
I find myself in the same boat where I kind of just play with whatever. It doesn't really matter. And I feel like the PC did that to me, where I get in a PC, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, the PC is very convenient. Although I'll say, I'm pulling away from my PC a little bit just because people are making dookie for PC. It seems like all the PC ports are dookie these days. But
Yeah.
the PlayStation Showcase is coming up this Wednesday, May 24th. It's at 4 p.m. Eastern time for us. Uh, I just wanted to bring this up a little bit. What do we think we're going to see? Is this going to be a blockbuster, or is this going to be a turd?
I say turd.
Ooh, okay. So this now to be fair, this is different than the other ones. What were the smaller ones they were doing? They were like 30 minutes long. They always sucked.
The PlayStation Directs, or what the fuck they're called.
The State of Plays, is
State
that
of
what it
Play,
was?
State of Play, yeah, State of Play.
Yeah, they've always been terrible, except for the first one, which is Final Fantasy VII.
Correct.
The showcases though are kind of their big ones, and PlayStation's been kind of, I would say, silent for 3 years now.
Yeah,
and we don't really know what's going on with them. I think it's after Spider-Man 2, we don't have any exclusives announced. So I think this might be a buster, a pre E3 buster, right? Where we're like, all right, we're finally gonna get some announcements and know what's going on. I think this might be like the 2012, 2013, where they announced the PlayStation 4 and then had E3 a couple months later. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Where they announced like 40 games and we get more in depth around the E3 time. I think this might be one of them.
So here's why I don't really have much confidence in this showcase. I think they're going to show the heavy hitters. Like, we're going to see Spider-Man probably finally, like the final trailers and stuff like that. Maybe some Logan. I don't know where they're at in development with that. Like, you're going to see some first party stuff. But I have a feeling they're gonna roll out a lot of this fucking the games as a service bullshit they've been working on for how long. Like, I feel like that's going to be there. PlayStation VR2 stuff's going to be there. Like, just things that probably don't appeal to you and me.
Yeah.
That because eventually they have to have something to show for all this money they're investing in these in these platforms. So I think that's what we're going to see a lot of. Like I said, we'll see some exclusives that maybe make us feel a certain type of way. But I don't know if we're going to get like the bombshell that like you and I are used to getting in our lifetimes. But I will say this: I don't want a show full of trailers for games that aren't going to come out for years. Like, stop doing that.
That does bug me too. But at this point, I mean, there's got to be some games coming out next year, right? So, and we don't know any of them.
No,
we don't know any of them for PlayStation exclusives. There's nothing. So, past this fall, it's blank. Now, I think you're right. Now that you bring that up, I forgot about all these games as a service. But what sucks about PlayStation is they are the last to adopt change. So I think even though all these games as service are going belly up and like they're clearly terrible investments, PlayStation is too stubborn to change their mind on them.
Right.
So we're still gonna get them and they're probably gonna lose tons of money.
Yeah, we're probably gonna get the Last of Us factions or whatever it is. I'm sort of
so
they'll finally announce that. Like, I think personally, it's gonna be a weak year for Sony. We're still riding. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch, but I'll say it anyway. I think they're still riding the coattails of like God of War Ragnarok. Like that was probably their last big banger they've put out. Like, I can't think of anything else that's really come out. So
it's been rough. It's been a rough start to the generation, in my opinion.
I could see a Horizon Zero Dawn port being announced. I don't really see anything. Like, now we're gonna put on Optimist Pedro hat. I would love to see, based on the numbers, I would love to see them give Legend of Dragon some love.
I would love that too, even if it's just like a high resolution version of it.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like now is the time. Like, that game sold how much? Like, it was downloaded how fucking much? Like, there's clearly interest. But again, with Sony, like, I don't really know if 2 million plus downloads really they give a fuck about. Like, to them, that could be a failure for all that we fucking know.
Yeah. Well, my prediction is we're gonna see the Bloodborne remaster that's been out forever. I think we're gonna see more of Judas, which I can't wait for. I think
I can't wait for that either.
I think we're gonna see Final Fantasy VII.
That's gonna be there.
Fucking Rebirth.
Rebirth, yeah.
We'll get like a proper trailer for that, which I'm probably gonna skip past.
Whoa, like the trailer or the game?
The trailer. Yeah, because I'm done with trailers. If I'm interested in the game, show me the reveal trailer. If I'm interested, I'm not watching anymore. You guys are spoiling too much these days. It's crazy.
I've been on media blackout for Final Fantasy 16, by the way.
Me too. I watched that
first
trailer.
Won't watch anything. Yeah, I watched the first trailer. Won't watch anything else.
Yep, I know I'm done. Also, that was the other thing, by the way. I forgot to bring this up. When I was in Disney World, another thing that put a hurting on me was the collector's edition that I pre-ordered came out on May 11th in Disney World. I was like,
Ooh.
whew, that one hurt because that was like $400.
Yeah, buddy.
Smacked me. Which I don't even know what's in that collector's edition anymore.
I don't know.
But yeah, I think
Yeah.
we're gonna see those games. I think you're right. We're gonna see factions. I think we're gonna see. I don't know. Anything else? What's your hopeful hat other than Legendary
Quest. I
Dragon?
think we'll see Dragon Quest 12 there. I'm hoping we see the Persona 3 remake that's alleged
Ooh, that'd
to
be
be
nice.
happening. Wherever the fuck this Final Fantasy 9 remake's at, like, I'm trying to think of anything else really I can think of. I just don't think this is going to be like a banger show. Like, I don't see if I'm reading the tea leaves here, like I don't really see how this is a banger show. Like I don't see it. Your boy doesn't see it.
You know what? I'm looking at this collector's edition.
You might want to refund that.
No, I'm gonna keep it. But I'm telling you, if this statue that comes in there is not up to high quality, I'm gonna throw a fucking bitch fit.
I can't
Because
wait.
I'm looking at the collector's edition and it comes with the statue, a pin collection, a steelbook, a cloth map, and then some sort of Blood Sword DLC, a digital mini art book, and a digital mini soundtrack.
Mm,
And this thing was $350, I'm pretty sure.
yikes.
That is bold if that statue isn't sweet. I'm gonna look at the anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt your flow.
No, you're good. Here's I guess where I stand. Out of any of these showcases that are happening or will happen, I am the most interested in what Microsoft is going to do.
So we'll just loop this right into the second topic, I guess, right? Which is the
Yeah.
Redfall situation with Game Pass.
Redfall sucks.
And I don't know what to say that. Oh, it's 10.5 inch statue. Okay, anyway, I don't know what to say that hasn't already been said. But it is Microsoft dying or not? Is Xbox dying? Is Xbox the like what is going on? You can't just put turds and turds and turds in front of people, force them to eat them, and expect them to be your fans.
I think
People
they're
are going to
rushing
start
these games.
abandoning the ecosystem.
Yeah. I feel like they're rushing these games out. I feel like they're being rushed.
Why
Personally.
though? I can't think of a single reason why Redfall had to come out right now. I can't think of a single reason why it would be rushed. And I can't think of a single reason why it's so bad, dude. Some of the things I've seen from Redfall are like straight up just lack of effort.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't know, because Arcane, and maybe it's a Bethesda issue. Like I don't know, but Arcane like has a good pedigree, or did like maybe think there's the same studio that did Dishonored, same studio that did Prey. Like so, there's a pedigree at this studio. It's not like these guys are scrubs, but I just feel like when you're making these games, and Redfall is a multiplayer based game, if I'm not correct, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So originally I think it was gonna be multiplayer only. Then they shifted.
yeah, and like so haphazardly they had to patch together this game, and Deathloop wasn't all that really well received either, from my understanding. Like it was kind of mixed.
Yeah.
And you're just seeing like they just keep having these missteps, and I just don't feel like Redfall. I think like Redfall needed more time in the oven, because like you said, it was going to be a multiplayer game. Then they got acquired, and then they're like, "Yo, this isn't going to be a multiplayer game. Like at heart, it's going to be, single player too." So they have to rework all this shit and maybe put in a story. Like I don't know what they had to change, but I feel like they had to change some stuff in there. And I just feel like haphazardly they didn't get enough time with this game, because like I think it needed to be delayed.
So I agree with you, but why put it out now on your own ecosystem? I know, but putting out a broken game like Redfall doesn't give you anything. Besides, like it hurts more than I don't know. I can see Phil Spencer losing his job soon. That's all I'm saying. I think Phil Spencer is his axe is on or his head's on the chopping block.
Yeah, and isn't the Blizzard deal not going through now?
No, I think I saw today that the European Union approved it. So
Yeah, last I read, the European Union was like, yeah, fuck this deal.
yeah, I think I saw. I mean, Xbox has unlimited money. They're gonna pay off. It's gonna go through. I just Microsoft has enough money at this point that they're just gonna be like, all right, well, how much do you want, buddy?
Can we be honest? Like, it's not gonna like it'll affect stuff, but like, I guess Call of Duty's a big deal, and Sony's throwing this bitch fit about it being exclusive, but like, I don't feel like Blizzard, besides like, owning King and all the mobile game stuff and Diablo, I guess, which I don't really consider like it's a big franchise, but I don't really consider it like a heavy hitter. It's not a system mover.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what are they really getting
at this point? At this point, does Blizzard get worse under Microsoft's leadership?
Probably.
They're just
Bethesda did.
Yeah, they're just not putting anything out, and the things they do put out are of terrible quality.
Yeah, but
so I remember having the same conversation though 5 or 6 years ago, and because everyone's like, Microsoft's been real quiet. What are they gonna say? This is their year. And I feel like for the last half decade, we've just been going, this is Microsoft's year. This is the time they start talking about things and start releasing things, and it never came, dude. These years never came. So like at some point we gotta be like, okay, well this isn't Microsoft's year. This is just how they are.
Yeah, and I feel like we're gonna see some stuff from them. I think Avowed has to be shown. Avowed, you have to get shown. Starfield, don't show me any more Starfield. They're gonna show us more Starfield. I don't want to see any more Starfield. I already got a sour taste in my mouth. Here's what's frustrating. The most frustrating thing about that company. For about 2 fucking years now, I've been trying to find a reason to buy an Xbox Series S, like the white one, the all digital one, because I just decided I'm getting a Series S. I don't need a Series X. I have a PS5. Like, there's no feasible reason other than just being a consumer whore that I need a Series X. I don't need it. But in the same token, they are not giving me a reason to get rid of my One X. I sit there and stare at my Xbox One X, and I still play it. I still play stuff on Game Pass. I still play like MLB The Show on it. Like, there is no reason for me to get rid of that system right now, and that is fucking sad.
I think when I last time is the series the One X, I'm pretty sure is more powerful than the Series S.
Probably, but it doesn't play those new games.
Oh, I thought everything they put out played on One and Series.
No,
was that a lie?
No, so there are certain games that, like, if you see on Game Pass, if it's like for Series S/X, I'd have to play that on via the cloud, which was bullshit, by the way.
So you can play it, you just have to play it through the cloud.
Yeah, I already had a bad experience. I don't want to play a game like that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know what's going on with them, and I don't want to buy a console because I have my computer, which is powerful enough, and that's something. But I was all in. Like, Microsoft had me for a minute there. I was like, Game Pass, sweet. Like, this is such a good service. And then I'm like, and then a couple months ago, I realized I've never beaten a game on Game Pass. The closest I ever got was Dragon Quest XI, and I mean, I just abandoned that at some point. And it's just like, for some reason, I'm just like, nah, I don't know. And I'm probably gonna cancel my Game Pass subscription just because I don't play it. There's nothing I want to play on it.
Yeah, I'm considering not renewing mine either. But I have my franchise going on MLB The Show, so who knows? Maybe I'll just buy MLB The Show.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's weird because for a while there, they were burning real hot. Microsoft was doing real good, and they just couldn't capitalize. They went corporate and started pushing these games out the door. And it seems to me like they're not making hard decisions. No. Whatever is going on with Avowed and Fable, you have to make some hard manager decisions. People need to get fired for the Avowed situation.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no reason that game should have been shown off so long ago, and the only thing we've gotten since then is a fucking screenshot.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. Same thing with Fable. They announced Fable 4 or 5 years ago,
and we've seen fuck all.
Yeah, and there's supposedly Playground Games is making it.
Yeah,
It just
who?
seems Playground Games, people who make fucking Forza.
Oh god. You never
Apparently,
know. They could do a good job. Who knows? But
well, yeah, but like, why would you choose them out of all the people, right? Like, why? Um, I don't know, man. It reeks of like terrible, terrible management. There's someone in that Xbox chain is broken, and you have to cut it out. I can't help but think that there's something wrong in that management chain. Whoever's making these decisions, you need to figure it out, and you need to get rid of them.
yeah. Yeah, they're not in a really good state right now. But I'm interested to see what they do because this is going to be, for me, probably the make or break year as to whether I invest in that ecosystem or not. Because like I feel like I've been waiting, and I don't like that. I don't like feeling like I'm always waiting on somebody to fucking do something.
Yeah, I mean, I've been waiting on them to show off Avowed and Fable forever, but I feel like I've given up hope. I'll probably resubscribe to Game Pass when there's a Bethesda game I want to play, but I think I'm done for now. Like Starfield doesn't really. I don't think Starfield is going to be the heavy hitter that Xbox thinks it is.
I want it to be, but
I mean,
yeah, I agree with
I
you.
do too, but let's be honest, dude. We know about Starfield because it's a Bethesda game. I don't think the majority of people know that that Starfield is a Bethesda game.
Yeah,
And I don't think they know it's gonna play similar to like Elder Scrolls,
and
and I don't think they
Fallout.
know it's
Yeah.
gonna play similar to Fallout.
And it's
These
gonna come out
series they love,
janky. There's gonna have that fucking Bethesda jank to it.
and I don't care what anybody says. In
That's not acceptable
2023,
anymore.
it's unacceptable. You can't do it anymore. They got away with it for like I think the last time with Fallout 4, and they took some shit for it with Fallout 4.
Yeah,
And the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, the only shit they took was because the PlayStation version was broken. But you cannot release Starfield in that same state, and you know what? It's going to. We all know it. It's the same
yeah, I know
fucking
it's
engine.
coming. Yeah,
It's the same fucking engine.
yeah, and you can't
And
do that anymore.
no, you can't. You can't get away with it, especially when games have come out that do Bethesda games better.
Yeah.
We have Obsidian in that ecosystem too, and Obsidian
Mhm.
doesn't do that. I don't know, dude. I don't think I think Starfield is going to be your classic Bethesda game, but I don't think it has the name recognition behind it that Elder Scrolls and Fallout do, and I don't think it's going to be such a huge success. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see it. I don't see people talking about Starfield very often in like forums and stuff when they're talking. People are talking about like, or even on Twitter, right? People are talking about like their most anticipated games coming out. Starfield doesn't come up in that conversation very often, so I don't know. We'll see.
I'll leave on this. So the studio I'm interested to hear from that's been real quiet that we haven't heard shit from in a minute. The Coalition. That's the one studio. That's the one studio at Microsoft that like is still top tier for me because Gears 5, loved it. Gears 4
So,
and 5, great games, great fucking games.
what have they made anything else except for Gears?
I think no, I don't think so. Maybe Gears
So
Tactics, but
they made the Matrix Awakens
what
in 2021.
Oh,
It's just it was a technology demonstration. I missed that.
yeah.
That's weird. Maybe you just leave them on Gears. By the way, they only made Gears 4 and 5.
They're fucking great games. I love Gears 4 and 5.
Yeah, I haven't played them, but that's always a series that I'm like I should play Gears, but I've
Dude,
only played the first one.
Did I tell you me and Adam ran through all of them?
Mm-hmm. You did.
Yeah, that was fuck. Listen, I'm willing to run through them with you too, buddy. I'm here for you. I'll be your wingman. Let's do it.
I don't have time. I don't have time because segue.
Here it
We got
comes,
the summer of RPGs coming up. Let's talk about this.
Let's fucking talk about it.
After I take a break. All right, we're back from our break.
We are
and
back.
You know what? I used to feel bad about doing that until I heard Joe Rogan do it with one of his guys. And I was like, you know what? If Rogan can do it, that's podcast.
You used to feel bad about taking a break?
I did. I used to feel bad about taking breaks. I feel like it broke up the flow of the podcast. But then I'm like, if you can jump right back into it like we just did, you're fine. Also, right. I got something to say real quick before we jump into summer games. Don't, under any circumstance, if you're an adult, text me and say, hey, guess what just happened? Or, hey, we need to talk. or anything like that that it demands my response, you can do that in a normal conversation. I walk in and say, "Hey, Pedro, guess what just happened?" Right? Because you can fucking have that conversation.
Right. Don't do it via text. Don't do that.
If you do that via text, fuck you. I fucking hate you. Well, not true. That's an exaggeration.
A little strong.
But one of my one of my employees at work texted me, and he's like, "Hey, guess what just happened?" And I'm like, "It's 11:30 at night. It better be good." And I'm on vacation, so like if you're texting me, "Hey, guess what just happened?"
Oh.
Like, so now I'm sitting here being like, I wonder what just happened. But you know what? It was a fucking text message. So you could have just sent it, JB. You could have just sent me the statement that you wanted to send.
Yeah.
Because we're not having a real conversation. You could have just been like, hey, this is the point. You get the point across.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot. A lot of people do that. It's really annoying.
Don't do it. Bad etiquette.
Bad etiquette.
Yeah. No. So, yeah, especially if you're in a position like where you have employees under you and they fucking text you, like, they fucking text you, like, hey, guess what? And you're on vacation. Don't text your fucking boss when they're on vacation. Do you want them to text you while you're on vacation? Would you like that?
Hey, just checking in.
Yeah, like
I should start doing that.
They're fucking TikTok videos made all the time, or fucking Facebook reels made all the time. People bitching about shitty bosses, like, "Oh, we tried to call you while you're on vacation." Blah 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 blah. Well, then don't do it to fucking them either, dickwad.
Yeah. No, it's just it's an annoying thing that we still haven't gotten over because we talk that way, and we tend to text how we talk.
Yeah, I just hate that.
Yeah. But that's an aside. Let's talk about
Summer of RPG.
Summer of RPG. Maybe the best RPG summer of all time, I would say. I mean, it's hitting hard.
So we're gonna get into this conversation. I'm cracking a beer.
Let's talk about that because this is crazy what we have lined up for us this summer.
Right. I'm having some Star Jockey.
Ooh, is that good?
Yeah, it's a good IPA. It's made by Trogs.
You know what? I don't actually.
Excuse me.
I don't actually drink any beer anymore. Have I talked to you about this? Ever since I went keto,
no.
I moved on. I when I was doing keto, I was drinking the Trulies for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I don't enjoy drinking anymore. I started getting hangovers, and that was pretty much it for me. Once I started getting hangovers, I was like, age caught up.
I don't really drink. So this beer has been sitting in that fridge for like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the last of the Mohegans, last beer. So like, you know what? I'm gonna do the pod. I'm gonna crack it tonight. Like, finish her off. But yeah, I only drink. If I drink anything, I have like one beer. I don't do hangovers. We don't do hangovers here at 32 years old. No hangovers.
Yeah. Once I started getting hangovers, because it really did come like the first time I got drunk after I was 25.
I told you to happen.
Yeah, a lot of people did, and it's like, all right, what the hell's going on? Because I was like impervious to hangovers. Turned 25, not impervious anymore. Don't happen.
Yeah.
Now of course I'm 29 now, but that was 4 years ago. We were doing keto and doing great, and then I just never came back. I never came back to drinking because I don't have self control like you. I would drink until I was like plastered at home by myself, which is not a good healthy habit.
No.
So yeah, I don't know. But one thing I do like these days is sour beers.
Yeah,
I love sour beers.
I'm a big sour guy.
I don't know why they never caught on before. Sour beers, delicious.
Yes, beautiful, delicious beers. Now, on the note, before we get into the RPGs of drinking, so as I've gotten older, my drinking has basically fucking not even plateaued; it's plummeted.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do find I like a nice nightcap every once in a while, where I'll get home. It'll be like maybe 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. I'll either crack one beer if I have a beer, or I recently got into drinking liqueurs.
Oh, fancy, man.
They're like sweet. It's like Di Serono, stuff like that. And I like one small little whiskey glass full of liqueur on the rocks on ice before bed, and I find it to be very relaxing. I don't do it every night. Usually I do it just kind of maybe in the middle of the week. But then the other time I'm starting to notice that I really like a beer is when I'm about to get into a fucking RPG.
Yeah.
Like, so when it's trails time, I only do it with one beer. Like, I'll crack a beer, set her down, and I'll consume that beer as I'm getting into my menus, fucking with my orb mints or whatever I'm doing. and then when it's quest time, by the time it's quest time, that beer's been consumed. We're ready to roll. But I find it to be very relaxing to have like the one drink.
You know what my nightcap is usually? NyQuil. Because I have allergies. So
sorry, buddy.
I'll drink some NyQuil so I don't wake myself up from snoring or something.
I don't know what it's like to have been born defective with allergies.
I don't know what it is. It's like when they did my allergy test, I wasn't really allergic to anything except dogs. I don't have any fucking dogs, right?
Wait, there's allergy tests? You can get tested for allergies?
Yeah, it's horrific. You know what they do? They put about 40 needles with allergens in a bar, or like a bar. Not a bar, like a board. And they're all sticking out, and they say, put your arms out. And I was like 13. And I was like, all right. And they take this board and smack it into your arms. So all the needles pierce your skin, and they pull it up, and they see where like welts form from allergies.
Oh, God.
Terrifying.
Yeah,
RPGs.
I want to do it. Yeah, RPGs. Let's talk about RPGs. All right, so RPGs coming out this summer are as follow. Here are some of the heavy hitters. We have Final Fantasy 16 coming out in June. Trails into Reverie coming out in July. Fun fact, July 7th on my birthday. Shout out me, the big tree. We have Sea of Stars in August. We don't know what the date is yet for Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. We have Dragon Quest 12, which doesn't have a date. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, which we saw at PAX, I believe. And East 10 Nordics. So these are just some highlights. What are your thoughts, sir? Lay it on.
Okay. So first of all, just so we're clear, what we know is that Final Fantasy 16 comes out in June.
Yeah.
Reverie comes out in July, and Sea of Stars comes out in August.
Correct.
Are you up on Sea of Stars?
Oh, yeah. We're in.
It looks phenomenal. Okay. I want to make sure before I
jump all the way in.
Now, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Dragon Quest 12, Relink, and East 10, they're supposed to come out this year. Not convinced. So, but the big three, the heavy hitters for this summer, are what I wanted to focus on, especially because I'm pretty convinced Yeast 10 we're not going to see for a couple years because
I don't think we're going to see that until at least 2024.
Because I'm pretty sure when they have these release dates on, we almost never get Yeast day and date, right? They always come out in Japan forever.
Correct. Yeah.
So, anyway, Final Fantasy 16 in June. What's your gut on Final Fantasy 16? We both have been on media blackout.
Mm-hmm. So
we're less than a month away, I think, right?
I want to be in. I had planned to take leave from work that day and just go balls deep into Final Fantasy 16. But I'm one of those weird gamers, and I think I've told you this before. Like the setting has to be right for me.
Okay.
Like the ambiance, like what's going on around me has to be right. And right now, like I'm still not in my own place, so I feel like I can't. Like I don't know what it is. It's not that like I'm uncomfortable or anything like that. It's just like I just don't have like part of me just wants to sit down and just like let's fucking dead to the world. This is me in this game, just me having this experience completely alone. Like I don't know what it is. Like I'm not having those. The vibes are off for me, and it's nothing with the game for me. But I'm gonna get it day one, and we're in.
Okay, but you're not sure you're gonna play it day one.
Probably not. No, I don't. I'd be stunned if I played it day one because I haven't played Final Fantasy, the Crisis Core for the same reason.
That makes sense. Now I started playing Crisis Core, but it was right before I moved, and I just never picked it up again.
Yeah, you gotta have the right setting. Like those are the games like you gotta just be everything's gotta go right. Like you gotta just be perfect.
Yeah. So I told Caitlin that when Final Fantasy 16 comes out, she's gonna be single for a while. I said, you're just not gonna have a boyfriend. That's just the way it's gonna go. I'm like, I'm gonna be sucked into this thing, and I need you to know that ahead of time. She's like, that's fine. I know you're a big fan of, and you've been waiting for it forever. And
is she good about you gaming long sessions, or what's that like?
Yeah, but I'm not good about it. That's the difference. I'm not good about it because I feel bad. So she's cool with it, and she's like very encouraging. But I'm like, I feel bad because I'm like, I feel like you're bored, Because she wants to be on the couch and she'll like scroll through her phone or whatever. And I feel bad because I'm like, she could be also watching the TV, and I'm not good with that. So generally, if I'm hanging out with her, I'll remote play or play something on my Steam Deck.
Okay.
but there is certain times when I come into the game room and I'm just like, all right, just leave me alone. I'm just gonna play on my PC or something like that.
Nice.
But I told her, I was like, 16 comes out. That's all I'm gonna be doing. Play Final Fantasy 16. I'm really excited for it, man. I think me and you've talked about before. This seems like the first real mainline Final Fantasy game we've gotten as like real adults.
Correct.
Because we're not counting Final Fantasy 15 and Final Fantasy 14 don't really count. So Final Fantasy 16, it's here. It's about a month away. I feel really good about it. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. I feel really good about it. But we have this summer lined up where 16 comes out in June, Reverie comes out in July, and then Sea of Stars comes out in August. And it's like, I can see all three of these games being fucking 10 out of 10s.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I'm a little thrown off that you might not play Final Fantasy 16 when it comes out. This is shocking me.
I more than likely will, but like I said, I have my trepidation. I'm just like it's just a mental thing for me. It's like I need to like all I want to do is because like I still don't have the rest of my stuff either. Like I have my gaming recliner, I have my own PS5, my TV that I'm used to, my sound bar.
Yeah,
like it's just like like. I don't know how else to describe it, but like I said, I'll probably power through it because I was struggling through it with God of War as well. Like I wanted to just like be in my own game room and just like fucking just enjoying God of War, and got through it and really ended up loving it. So like I see myself powering through, but yeah, that's just my only hold up. But I do still plan on taking the day off and playing Final Fantasy 16.
Now, as far as your stuff retrieval. are you gonna go for that, or are we just you call
no,
it
we ain't,
and letting it go?
No, we ain't calling audible. Fuck that. She's like, all my Trails games are there.
Oh gosh,
yeah, like so. Yeah, no.
you got to get them at some point, right? Like you have to.
Yeah, like that's no. That's a non-negotiable. My Gundam keyboard's still there.
Oh
Like,
no.
yeah, like we've got some items that are just like like I gotta have that. But the rest of my clothes, my shoe, most of my shoes are here, but my clothes, my TV, my sound bar, my X-Men versus Street Fighter arcade cabinet. Like we got some shit there.
I can't believe she's not like dying to give you that back. Like,
listen, it's.
I'm not gonna
it's an experience. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. But then after Final Fantasy 16. Trails in the Reverie. Are you gonna be prepared? Are you gonna be ready?
Oh yeah, dude, I'm on Trails into Azure. That's the last game before I'm caught up. So this is why I did this, because I wanted to give myself the entire month of June to just kind of recharge the batteries, have my fill, because that gives me like, I think Final Fantasy 16 comes out June 18th or something, around Juneteenth weekend. I think it comes out.
The 22nd is when it comes out.
Okay, so a little bit after Juneteenth weekend. Gotcha. And June's a big month for me because the Flash movie comes out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And this is like Avengers Assemble type time for me, because the plan is we're gonna have like 8 heads going to the movies. Like it's like you, my friend Adam's coming with, a couple of my old work buddies took off on the 16th. To go catch a showing, and then we're gonna like, my plan is like we all want to get food beforehand. Like I'll message everyone the itinerary, obviously, but yeah, it's an event because like I'm the biggest Flash fan of anyone I know, and this is our moment. But
now I just saw that Stephen King did say he liked it, and Stephen King hasn't been big on superhero movies.
That's
so
good.
I've heard a lot of people say that this is supposed to be a really good one.
Yeah, and it sucks that they killed off that universe. But anyway, yeah, Final Fantasy 16. I feel like this game is gonna fucking be the one, buddy.
I think so too. I mean, I wouldn't have pre-ordered the collector's edition if it didn't, because I don't really do that much anymore these days. And now that I've seen what's in it, I'm a little disappointed. I don't know what I was thinking back then, but it's too late now. I feel like I'm in. I'm not getting a refund. I'm in.
And like I said, so I'm glad that Final Fantasy 16, I'm gonna have like a 2-week window before Trails in the Reverie. I can just get my fill of Final Fantasy 16, play it as much as I want, and then when Trails into Reverie blesses my fucking hands with its presence, people aren't gonna have a Pedro anymore. People aren't gonna have a Pedro. Like Pedro doesn't exist.
I feel like you're gonna have to exist to me. I'm gonna want to know about it. We're gonna have to talk about it.
You're gonna need to be caught up. I don't know if I can.
It's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm not gonna be able to do it. Just because, dude, I want to beat Jedi Survivor, and then by the time that happens, I mean, I might be able to beat the third by that time, but I don't think it's gonna happen. By the time 16 comes out.
Yeah, so I'm gonna, dude. Like I said, I can't wait because there's so much shit that is gonna happen in Reverie, or that I hope happens in Reverie. I've been on so much media blackout. I don't even Google anything trails. I don't even. Anytime I see anything trails in YouTube, I fucking don't watch it. Yep. Like it's because like I am so afraid of having literally anything spoiled for me. And you can get this is the one series you can get yourself spoiled so fucking easily that it's like painful.
Yeah, it's like anytime you look up anything, you get spoiled because so many characters have deep ties to each other that like you could look up a random character that you think is only in this game and he has appeared in a game from a decade ago, and it's a spoiler for that game. And it's like, damn it, damn it, you know. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm a little nervous. How do we feel about going back to having Reen as the main protagonist? I mean, we've moved on, right? It's a little scary.
It's a little scary, but I think there's going to be, from what I saw the trailers, there's going to be 3 different pathways. Like there's going to be the Lloyd path, the Reen path, and then whoever fucking mask guy is who you said you got spoiled for yourself.
I did. Yeah, I did.
That's that's been eating me for like weeks.
That I got spoiled?
No, that like who it is, and it's gonna like that your reaction to it wasn't like big.
Oh, yeah.
It was almost like you weren't shocked.
Well, because I got spoiled, I think,
on a screensaver.
On a screensaver, but it was a while before we recorded the show, right?
Yeah.
It was like hours before.
Mm-hmm.
So I had already had my reaction to it, and I was just annoyed that I got spoiled. And I was like, that was more of my energy. It was just like, damn it, again.
So, but like, so when you saw who this was, you knew who it was immediately. Like, you just kind of.
Well, yeah, because it was in the title of the screensaver. So like the name was there.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's been like eating at me because like this. That's because I'm like, who is it? Who can this fucking guy be that it's like that big of a spoiler?
I should reiterate for people listening, because no one uses screensavers anymore. It was a wallpaper engine.
Wallpaper, yeah.
So, but yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if you're going to see it coming or not. I don't know how they build it up in Reverie. It's weird that this guy just shows up in
he's just there
in Reverie because there's no build up, but whatever. I've played the opening to Reverie, and it's
I've also played the opening to Reverie. Remember, because I thought I was going to be smart and play Reverie in Japanese using Google Translate. It was a dark time, but like that opening boss fight is dope.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty cool. And it's just the way it opens. It opens with feet running, and I'm all about that.
Yeah.
So, Tales of Reverie, we can assume, is going to take at least a month to play through, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, these games are not small, so
no.
I'm thinking Final Fantasy 16 is going to take us into Reverie.
Yeah.
Well, you anyway. For me, I'm probably not going to be ready. And then from Reverie, we have Sea of Stars in August. Now, Sea of Stars, I've been on the Sea of Stars bandwagon for years. I've been like, this game looks phenomenal. I think it's one of the most unique, cool games I've seen in years. Yeah. For people that don't know, this is a Chrono Trigger inspired classic JRPG experience.
Was it developed by one guy?
That sounds right, but I don't know. Sea of Stars.
I feel like it was, but I could be wrong.
Sabotage Studio. I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, so maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, no, I've been on the Sea of Stars bandwagon as well. You know, another game that's like, I don't know when it's coming out, or if it did come out. Remember that trailer I showed you for WrestleQuest?
Oh my god, I forgot all about that.
Where the fuck is that game?
I don't know. You're by the way the only person. I think they talked about it on Sacred Symbols a little bit, but yeah, you're the only conversation I've ever had with it.
I just googled it. Launches May 2023, so it's coming out this month at some point if it's not already out.
Interesting. Don't have time. I got to beat Jedi Survivor in time for Final Fantasy 16, which is probably going to happen. If I don't beat Jedi Survivor this weekend, I'm going to fucking kill myself.
Yeah,
because I have nothing to do.
Dude, yeah, you got to beat that.
I mean, I think I could reasonably beat it tonight. I have to stay up all night.
You're doing adult shit, power washing your house, and doing the fucking. Next, you're gonna be mowing the lawn, and
well, actually, I have a really nice neighbor that does that for me.
Oh, why does your neighbor mow your lawn?
Because he's retired and he's bored. And it's just I don't know if it's gonna stay that way because I feel bad about it because he's old. But like, dude, this guy is just like it doesn't even get a chance to grow. He mows it like every other day. And I'm like, well, I don't even have a chance to mow my own lawn.
I mean, there would be worse problems. Does he shovel your snow? That's going to be the key thing.
I don't have a sidewalk.
Oh.
I mean, I guess I do, but I don't.
You have a driveway?
Yeah, I have a driveway.
Because what if he expects you to shovel his snow because he's too old?
He doesn't have. He has like a 3 paver sidewalk in front of his house, just like I do. So I don't know if it matters, but.
And how's he gonna feel when he put the fence up?
I said I'm not gonna put a fence up. I can't do it.
It's too adversarial.
Yeah, well, it's too like it's too standoffish, right? Like, I might put a fence up along like I have like a shitty neighbor. I might put my fence up along that side of the house because I don't want to really see them in like their disgusting backyard. But like this guy over here, he's so nice to me. And like he mows my lawn and I'm like he has like a really nice backyard. I'm like, I don't really see a reason. A fence isn't gonna keep his outside cats away. Like they're gonna find a way into my yard anyway. So whatever. I'm not getting an aggressive dog breed. I'm gonna get a Great Pyrenees. So I think it's gonna be fine. I'm just gonna have to keep him on a leash when I let him outside.
Yeah. That
was the only reason I wanted a fence.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I like it. I
don't even know how we got there, but Summer of Games. What are you most excited for as far as this trio?
Definitely Trails into Reverie, like for sure.
Wow.
It's just, dude. It's just because we've put so much time into the.
It's all been building to this.
Yeah, like I feel like I'm almost at 500 hours into Kiseki games.
You're way longer than 500 hours.
you
500 hours? 500 hours in Cold Steel games alone, probably.
Yeah, maybe like closer to 1,000. Like that. Like that's probably. a lot of time, and just invested into one whole world. And like this is supposed to be like the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
When you watch the first phase of MCU, like this is the fucking payoff here. Like So that's probably the game I'm most excited for. Second, obviously, is going to be Final Fantasy 16. Because it's a Final Fantasy game. We are Final Fantasy fans. And I really trust Yoshi P here.
I do.
Where as well. He's someone who loves the series. I think he's going to do right by that series. And when I played Final Fantasy 14 and saw how great of a game that was, that's when I was won over. I'm like, this is a great game, and I'm not an MMO guy.
Yeah. Someday when we have more time, we'll go back and finish that up.
I would love to.
But for now, we've got work to do.
Yeah, and then Sea of Stars. That one's probably going to be on the back burner for me. Because I don't know where I'll be at RPG wise with between Trails in the Reverie and Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, priorities,
so I can't promise that game is a 2023 game for me. That might be a let's check in 24.
Now, as far as the rest of these go, if Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth comes out this year,
I don't think it comes out this year.
I don't either, actually, to be honest with you. But if it does, like they say, are you going to be in on that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But the reason I don't see it coming out, don't you think that's a little fucking much to put 2 Final Fantasy games out that are bangers, like the 2 big ones, in 1 year?
That's what Square's been doing, though, right? They've just been machine gunning all their games and like releasing them on top of each other. I could see them doing it. I don't know what's stopping them if they released 5 games within a 2-week span last year.
Yeah. And they're sadly all great games. But so here's my thing. So with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, did you play the Intergrade? Like, are you fully caught up?
No, I bought it twice and then never played it.
So here's here's what I think you need to do is because when you played Final Fantasy VII Remake, it was a real dark time for you, and I feel like that tainted your enjoyment of that game.
Yeah, I've said that a couple times. It's just that's when I realized that you can't force yourself to play something.
Yeah.
So I need to replay it under
Yeah, you
good
need to
time.
unpaint the experience. Get
Yep,
it out of
I
the
agree.
paint.
I agree.
And once you do that, I think you'll be ready. Because for me, I had to replay Intergrade because the night I played Intergrade, I got into a really big fight with my ex. We were dating at the time, so like I went downstairs pissed off from just playing Intergrade, and I just didn't enjoy it because I was too busy being pissed off. So
Yeah.
I had to replay that, and like the second time I played it, I'm like, okay, this is great. I enjoed this.
Yeah.
I don't hate Yuffie. The game made me not hate Yuffie.
That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, that's what because at first I'm like, I fucking hate this character's mechanics, and then I don't know, like the second time I played it, like the just the battle songs and just the gameplay, like it all just hit differently for me. So yeah, I say if they put out Rebirth in 2023, I'd be shocked. Tell you what, if they put out Rebirth in 2033, you'll see me shotgun a beer on this show.
Oh wow! All right,
we're gonna shotgun a beer.
The shocked shotgun beer. All right, I like it. As far as the other list goes, I'm not really that excited. These are all games I'm probably gonna play, except for Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, which has been it's looked amazing for 7 years or whatever the fuck it's been. So I told you before the show, I'm not sure if I saw this at PAX with you or if that was one of my earlier trips, but either way, it's been a long time. And I knew about it before PAX, and they've had gameplay trailers forever, and they just never seemed to finish this game. And it's looked amazing forever. I'm just ready. It's time. It's good.
I would have
action RPG.
Yeah, I would have to see gameplay of it. Yeah, because I don't remember this game being on my radar like at all. But I've noticed I stopped really paying attention to like trailers really until it, unless the trailer is like on Twitter where like somebody shares like, hey, this happened. I tend to miss it.
Yeah.
Like I noticed this games don't like come onto my radar anymore like that anymore. So what's it called? Grand Blue
Fantasy Relink. It was made in part by Ninja Theory, I think. Is it Ninja Theory?
Oh, you know what? I did see this with you.
Yeah.
You were with me when you saw this. This game never came out?
No, it never came out. It's been in development hell this whole time.
What the fuck?
And it like I said, it's had really cool gameplay trailers forever. And
is this Square Enix? Because I remember this was at the Square booth.
It was next to it. It was like right across from it. And they had like a really in-depth, cool booth set up. This is from the original developer of the original Grand Blue Fantasy, is Psy Games, but this game has really cool mechanics and a lot of really cool looking characters and great art direction, and yeah, it looks really cool.
I remember this. It looks like Ys.
Yeah, a little bit like a fancier Ys.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember this. This was at PAX 2017 we went? 2017, 2018?
2018, yeah.
Yeah.
5 years ago, buddy.
You know, it's crazy. We never went back to another PAX.
Yeah, after the whole Sacred Symbol situation, I was soured on PAX. And then every year that has, for like the past 2 years, I've checked to see if they've dropped their mask policy, and they haven't yet.
Are we
not
too old for PAX?
No.
Okay, making sure.
I think we're about the average age for people that go to PAX. A lot of people can't afford
it. You know, and we've told that story before, but I still to this day don't know how we afforded it, because we fucking stayed in Back Bay, which is a really nice part of Boston, for like really cheap.
We supported the Russian mafia. That's how we did it.
Yeah, it was great.
Because something was very suspect about that deal that we had, and it just worked. So I don't know.
Yeah, it worked. It was great. We were great. We made sure that place was fucking spotless, so they didn't come fucking murder us. And
yep.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, we got an Airbnb for like pennies.
Yeah,
in like a prime location in Boston. We didn't think, we actually, if you remember correctly, we didn't think it was real. Even think it was real until I had my sister drive up, and we still weren't convinced until we got there. which is crazy because we didn't really have a backup plan, if I remember
No,
correctly.
we were just, I don't know what the fuck we were gonna do. Fucking stay at a Ramada or some shit. I don't know.
We were
Yeah,
younger.
no, it's so I remember this Grand Blue Fantasy. I can't believe it never came out.
Nope, never came out, and it looks really good. I'm really
I think
excited
I'm in
for
on
it.
that. Well, I'm in for a demo. I'm not like in, but I'm in for a demo. I'm like, you won't catch. So I have a real big rule that a game has to really capture me in the initial trailer. Otherwise, like if I'm like, that means I'm gonna wait for a sale.
Yeah.
I call that Star Ocean energy.
Star Ocean energy. Well, you just love taking L's on Star Ocean is what I think.
I haven't taken an L on this new Star Ocean. I got it for $30. I'm happy at $30.
Did you play it yet? It's pretty bad.
No, it's not bad.
Oh. I heard it was like not great, but yeah, I think I got it on sale too, and I played the opening, and I'm like, nope, I'm out.
See, I played the opening and liked it. So, but that's
I don't like the art direction.
It's interesting. I would say that. Where are we at with Dragon Quest 12? Because I've seen nothing of this game besides like the little logo.
That is exactly where we're at with Dragon Quest 12. There's no other information, but it's still like they haven't updated it the release date or anything. So maybe this could be a game that's at the showcase. I think you said that, but if not, then if it's not at the showcase, it's not coming out this year. But I will say Dragon Quest 11 apparently sold really well.
Yeah.
In the United States, and I would be surprised if this didn't get a worldwide release, but with how Square Enix is these days. So I don't know. The last thing I think I heard about Dragon Quest 12 was that it was going to be a darker, grittier game, which I think is cool. To switch things up with Dragon Quest, because Dragon Quest 11 is phenomenal, maybe the best in terms of like classic RPGs, like straight up mechanics of all time. And I mean like the way the classic RPG turn-based system is. It's I would say it does it the best. I wouldn't say Persona 5, because like Persona 5 I would say is like the best classic RPG. But as far as like just having like attack, magic, defend, run, or whatever, I think Dragon Quest 11 is the best. Persona 5 has like overall like a different like you get the baton pass and the weakness, all for one attack or whatever it's called. So I think Persona 5 does that better, but Dragon Quest 11 is phenomenal.
I will say I feel like the stories in Dragon Quest are weak, and that's maybe my biggest problem with those games.
Yeah,
is that the stories that you got for an RPG for me to like really want to love it, you gotta have a strong story. Because even I'm even the same way with Shin Megami Tensei games, where if the story's not grabbing me, like even if it's an SNT game, I'm out. Like
that's why I've never beaten Nocturne, because I think Nocturne's story is really weak. Yeah. I'm playing through Nocturne, I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, it's not a great story. Like I honestly, maybe this is controversial, but I don't think Nocturne's that great of a game. But yeah,
I kind of agree with you. How's 5? Yeah. Is 5 decent?
5's really good. 5 is actually really good. I know on the show recently I went back to it. I put it down for, I don't know why I put it down. There was a reason I stopped playing it. I don't know why. It wasn't because I didn't like it. I'm like almost like 20 hours into it. I was really having a good time with it. Soundtrack's fucking great. I think the frame rate runs like shit. Still, that opinion still holds. And I hope it comes out like selfishly. It comes out like on PS5, like so I can get like a better version of it. But yeah, no, Shin Megami Tensei 5 is actually great. I really like it.
Maybe I'll check the frame rate. Yeah, maybe someday when Kiseki loosens its claws, maybe I'll have some time to do something else.
So, yeah, and then East 10. I mean, I'm behind on East games, like hard. I haven't beaten East 8. I haven't beaten East 9. Not that they're connected by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel like I owe myself a good action RPG. But I will say, after Trails to Azure, I need a Falcom break.
Yeah, I agree.
Too much Falcom.
I agree. That makes sense. Why are their games still looking like shit though? That's what I want to know.
I don't know, because I feel like it can't be a budget thing at this point.
It's got to be on purpose, because like game engines are so good. It's so easy to make good looking assets. I don't understand how they possibly still make these games that look like straight up PS3 games, early PS3
Yeah,
games.
so maybe they have a mandate that like use the shit out of an engine until we literally can't use it anymore.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. We love you, Falcon, but you do some weird shit. So moving on to our misconduct list here. Now, besides Robert Sweeley, who's always on the list, cartridges galore in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Okay, so as before we started recording the show, I was just perusing Facebook just to see, maybe if there was anything that would catch my eye or anything that would kind of jog a topic out of me. And on my Twitter feed or on my Facebook feed, cartridges galore in Altoona, Pennsylvania said, "You're not going to believe this one. These sweet graded games are available in Altoona, and it is Crash Bandicoot 2, greatest hits version, by the way, which is graded a 9.8. Metroid Prime Trilogy for the Wii, graded I believe that is a 9.8. Final Fantasy Tactics, or Final Fantasy Chronicles, Green Label, graded a 9.8, and Dragon Quest 9 on DS, which appears to be graded a 9.8. And my problem with this, I already don't like, I don't like the VGA stuff. I'm not into that. I'm not into grading games. If you're into that, good for you. I'm not into sending my games in like it's a fucking comic book to never be opened, to never be used, and to just sit there and some fucking asshat in a fucking room gets paid to grade the quality of my product or of my item. And then based on that grade he gives it, dictates the monetary value. And the fact that a retail store, right, a retro game retail store, bought this, either they had them graded themselves or they bought it. They bought it off a guy. I don't know what happened. But the fact that you're then going to advertise this to me, like you're going to sell that to me? You're going to sell me something like what? Who's carrying around that much cash?
Especially because I feel like their whole vibe is like a respect the video game vibe, and I don't think the graded thing fits with their, because let's be honest, the grading thing is a whole ass like reselling thing, like that's what that is. Most collectors, I don't want, I don't want to say that, but like you grade a game so it's worth more, and so you can resell it. Is essentially how it goes. Or if it's something really, really rare, like a fucking Action Comics number 17 or whatever the first appearance of Superman is, you grade it because that's what you want to fucking do.
Yeah.
Or, a first edition Charizard. Most video games are not worth that. They're just, you just do this. No. They are resellable. And I think it's stupid, honestly. And I think it's weird. I don't like the conflict of interest of a retro store selling graded games. I don't like that. That's a dangerous territory, right? Because if they're grading it themselves to resell it, that means that now all of a sudden they're looking at a game coming in their store and being like, is this worth grading and reselling? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, I don't like that. That doesn't vibe well with me. So is the profit margin for them huge? Absolutely. So from a business perspective, I see, but I think you can, for me personally, you can kill a lot of my interest in going to your store by being like, oh, Chrono Trigger box just went over my shelf. We should probably grade this so we can get more money out of it.
Yeah.
That, I don't like that.
Yeah, I think it just sets a really bad precedent. And on this show, I think overall we are pretty supportive the retro game video stores. I think like we've never really said much negative stuff unless it's like, egregious. Like I think this right here is like egregious to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like it. I think like I agree with you. It sets a bad precedent. And like, what's to say they don't send the game out to get graded? Like you just said, like, so say if I trade in something, like, oh, yo, this is in really good shape, let's get this graded.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's going to start happening more and more. and maybe it is, or maybe it already is happening, and this is the first time I've noticed it. But
this is the first time I've ever heard of something like this.
Yeah, I just think it's fucking crazy. Like, I think that is complete. Like, because you don't see comic book stores do that shit.
No,
that I'm aware of.
Usually,
is that even legal for them to do? Like,
I don't know. It seems a little sketchy, doesn't it? It seems a little illegal, but I guess technically they're just private businesses that resell products. I've never heard of a comic book store going out of their way to grade something in order to get more money out of it.
Yeah, so they send it to the VGA to get graded, which is fucked. Like,
from what I've always run into is comic book stores say they don't like grading comics because it seals them in a box forever, and they're not meant to be like that.
Yeah,
right. So that's always, in my opinion, the preferable take on from stores, because it's like you're supposed to be passionate about these products. You're supposed to want people to buy them and read them or play them or use them. You don't want I don't know. I'm not a fan of the whole grading system. I don't like it.
Yeah. So be on the lookout out there, you game hunters. You might start seeing this shit more and more. But seriously, from us here at Alpha Nerds Inc., what the fuck?
Yeah.
Cartridges galore. Like, what the fuck? Like that. It's the Altoona location. I don't know, because I think the one we went to was in State College, right?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I got these guys mixed up with the Altoona stores you were going, or the Lancaster stores. What's that store?
Yeah, no. Yeah, Just Press Play. Those are our boys.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, now we're big Just Press Play guys, but cartridges galore, dude. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck?
We don't like this.
Yeah, we do not endorse this. So
bullshit.
Second on and last on the misconduct list, as we wrap up our fun little show here. We're running for about 2:20. Nice solid show. But Gen Z gamers. So these guys, right? These are the guys who are basically anyone about 25 and under right now.
Okay.
And my problem with these guys is this. Are you listening? Are you ready for this take?
I'm ready, buddy.
Yeah. I feel like they don't respect the medium. They don't respect the history of gaming. They don't have any appreciation for the things that came before them. So
and what's led to this?
So this review bombing shit.
Oh, yeah.
So anytime something comes out that we don't like, or does something we don't like, or we feel doesn't support our political message or affiliation or how we feel, we just review bomb it, or we hate on it, or we just I don't like the culture we're setting. Secondly, people these fucking young whippersnappers, these young behind the ears little shits, talk about this medium as if they've been doing it the entire time. Like, as if they don't know that, like, they're now going to be men in their mid-30s who have been fucking playing Zelda games since before you were a load in a napkin, bud.
Like, well, we're old men now, Pedro.
Yeah. So, like, this is my, like, back in my day rant.
Okay.
And I'll say it, back in my day, in our day, we didn't do this shit. If a game came out that we didn't fucking like or we didn't fuck with, we just didn't buy it.
Nope.
We didn't buy it. There wasn't the big discourse. We didn't start whole Twitter campaigns to fucking get a game canceled, or we didn't like review bomb games. Like, we didn't do this nut shit that kids do now.
So, what's crazy to me though is that anyone takes user reviews with any sort of real precedent, right? Because I've always viewed user reviews as like complete nonsense, because people just flippantly give things 10s and 0s all the time in user reviews. What I think needs to happen is like what Steam does. You need to have a verified purchase in order to grade something. Because on Steam, when you read a review, it fucking tells you right there how much time the guy's put into it. And if he's only put in, 15 minutes, this guy's an idiot. You don't care. But on something like Metacritic, you can jump right in there and just give it a 0. And I think Colin had a conversation about this recently, where he's like, they could change it, but they probably don't want to because they like the traffic it brings to their website. Um, so that's kind of how I view the review bombing thing. It's just like it's stupid. I don't and I get it that this is like their only way of communicating to the developer, but at the same time, you guys, I don't understand. You know, like this doesn't affect anything.
No.
I don't know. I don't know. But what I will say is, nah, that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, but it's just it's this trend, and I seriously blame the younger gamers because it's you fucks who play Fortnite and you Call of Duty losers and then like you woke fucking people like it's just this cesspool that makes up the majority of the gaming space, unfortunately, because us older gamers, I feel like we're more of a niche market. Like, yeah, there's a bunch of us, but I feel like the stuff that appeals to us, like the JRPGs and the maybe the obscure indie games and stuff like that, or like the old school turn based RPGs for sure. Like those games now like get shit on or something like from our childhood. Like anyone who's our age probably loves Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
And think about like when Hogwarts Legacy came out, like anyone who's our age probably was all over it. And yet, if you bought that game, you were a fucking bigot and a fucking transphobe and all this other nonsense that didn't really need to happen. And when we tried review bombing that, it fucking didn't work, did it?
No,
And
but they tried completely boycotting it, and it didn't work
yeah,
at all
that didn't work either.
because here's the reason why I think companies are starting to catch on is that Twitter is a very small
Right.
percentage of the population, and it's a very small percentage that is the vocal minority yelling on Twitter. Like we're talking a very small amount of people who are, by the way, never gonna buy your product to begin with. So there was a huge. I don't know if you saw the hubbub about the Amazing Spider-Man 26, and me talking about it on Twitter today. Marvel, well,
Yeah, I
leaks
saw.
came out of the Amazing Spider-Man 26. A character dies. It is a character that has had their comic book series rebooted several times because they do not sell. Anything this character is in has been pretty much a colossal failure. Marvel is going to kill this character to create hype in a book that's not theirs, and they're going to bring this character back in less than a year. I don't want to spoil it. Well, you know what? Marvel themselves tweeted out, "It's Kamala Khan. It's Miss Marvel." Marvel at this point is embracing the leaks, right? Miss Marvel dies in the Amazing Spider-Man. Why does she die in the Amazing Spider-Man? Because no one buys fucking Miss Marvel books.
Wait, so like Miss Marvel, like from the Marvels, or like Captain Marvel? There's too many Marvel.
No, from like the new Miss Marvel, the minority.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I'm with it.
So people on Twitter saw this, started freaking out, and started ranting and boycott Marvel. It's like,
Why?
well, you guys clearly do not read comic books because
Nobody stays dead in comic books.
you're acting like idiots, thinking that Miss Marvel is going to die when her movie is coming out this year. Like, they're going to kill her, and they're going to reboot her book series by bringing her back to life right before her movie comes out to try and leech sales off the movie.
Yeah.
Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb.
Yeah. I feel like the only comic book character who stayed dead for like a minute was like Jason Todd.
Yeah, he did stay dead for a minute. There's
and people called in to vote that motherfucker dead. That's how much they didn't like Jason Todd.
Thankfully, they gave him a cool costume and some guns. Everyone's like, we're fans again. We're in. We're on Jason Todd. He does have the coolest Batman costume. I will say that.
Does. He's good old... yeah, but you know what they make? Speaking of Jason Todd, they make him like a huge edgelord and like anything new now. By the way,
that's kind of his whole shtick, right? He's the edgelord Bat family character.
Yeah.
Anyway, my whole point was that I think companies are starting to realize that like you can kind of, for the most part, just completely ignore all this Twitter nonsense, and I'm glad that in a way that the Harry Potter boycott happened because it proved that was true. Dude, you go to Universal Studios any time of the day, any day of the year, it is packed. People are flooding that place. Harry Potter is killing it, despite what people think about J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. These Twitter opinions don't matter, and it has cost companies, an uncountable amount of money for a decade now. For people that have no real power and that weren't. And by the way, the comic book community was the first community to say this. These people were not going to buy the books to begin with, and no one listened. These social media people didn't listen, and the executives of these companies didn't listen because all they saw was this mass outcry. Because back in the day, they weren't prepared for it. They weren't prepared to hear all this negativity about their game all of a sudden because Twitter was new. Now it's not. Now they understand that, like, okay, these people weren't going to give us money to begin with. So
yeah, vote with your wallets, people. But yeah, if you're a young gamer, like, don't. Here's where I'm at. Like, I'm not willing to hear your opinion on like certain video games, especially if it's one in a long-standing series, until you've like really played those games. And like, I don't know how you're gonna verify that to me. To be honest with you, but like, so say like a kid who's like maybe 15 years old comes and tells me like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom is the best Zelda ever. I'm gonna immediately not listen to you. Like, yeah,
all right, buddy. All right, yeah. Let's get you back in your crib.
Yeah, let's pass your fucking bedtime, pal. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, and then the worst thing is like when you hear these young guys, you're talking about a series like, oh yeah, I'm buying my first Mortal Kombat, which they renamed Mortal Kombat MK1 or whatever the new one's gonna be called.
I heard that they set it up in the last game. Like there was like a time.
Yeah, they did. But like when you hear that, and I'm like, man, that makes me feel old. I remember playing the first Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis.
True.
How about we talk about this? How about like
there's like a giant blank spot in my like memory though, by the way. Of like there's like Mortal Kombat 1, and then there's like a random PS2 story mode Mortal Kombat game. And then there's I think that was it. And then there's like the reboot series on PS3. Yeah. That's how my memory of Mortal Kombat goes. I don't remember like any other more like where the fuck was 7 and 8 and 9 and 3 and 4? I don't remember any of that shit.
So MK9 ironically was MK versus DC. Fun fact.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know what? That game got shit on, but I liked it. I had fun with it.
Game sucks. That game thought it was going to be Marvel versus Capcom. That's what they thought they were doing. And then when they got the response, everyone's like, oh no.
I'm surprised you didn't like that considering the Flash is fucking broken in that game.
Yeah, the Flash is broken, but like, here's the thing that pisses me off about that game is there's no fatalities, right? Which I get, you're not going to put fatalities in things with like DC heroes, despite Injustice being violent as fuck. Let's put that out there. So like that's what makes that game look even worse. So yeah, but that game, I remember when it came out, I was so hyped because I thought like we're finally the DC guys, because I'm a big DC guy. I'm like, we're finally getting our Marvel versus Capcom. No, the fuck we're not. No, the fuck we are not. That game fucking stinks.
I don't remember. In my mind, it looks like Injustice. That's what it looks like in my mind. I guess it's not.
It wishes it looked like Injustice. I feel like they should do another one. I'm surprised they haven't, to be honest, because like with how much people love Injustice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no. Famously, that game's a turd. My favorite Mortal Kombat is Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, because it's like that open world one. And Mortal Kombat games have always been the best fighting games in terms of playability, because like they always put extra shit into them. Like there's one Mortal Kombat game that has like a whole Mortal Kombat kart racers. They have like the Shaolin Monks is like an open world game. It's like an open world beat 'em up.
Nonsense.
So, yeah, they really tried with that series. Sub-Zero Mythologies, which is fun fact a fucking terrible game, but it's basically, you remember like the digitized graphic Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
Imagine that as a platformer.
That sounds awful.
It truly is, but they had like live action cutscenes.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful stuff.
I don't know anymore.
Yeah, so
never been a Mortal Kombat guy myself, but
it has the best. It has the best lore compared to
I really enjoyed Injustice 2, and I thought Injustice 2 was really fun.
Yeah, NetherRealm Studio, we're big fans here. So. It's been a good show, buddy. Is there anything in closing you want to get off your chest? It's been good seeing you. I missed you.
It's good to get back on the horse.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, I enjoyed seeing you too. I haven't seen you in person for too long, though. We need to get together. We need to do something.
Yeah, we do. So I'm eyeballing that. I mean, I would like to get together in person a little earlier, but I did send you that message about the UFC card that's upcoming in July.
July's way too far away.
Yeah, but it's too much. It's a fucking super card now.
Oh yeah, I mean we'll watch it. We'll definitely watch it. Too far away. We gotta get together before that.
Yeah, let's see if we can get together in June. I got some time off coming up in June.
All right, buddy. I'm down with that.
All right. So it's been a good show. Remember to follow us on Twitter. What's our Twitter handle? I don't remember the Twitter handle. What's the Twitter handle?
I believe it's Alpha Nerds Prime.
I believe it's Alpha Nerds Prime. So follow us on Twitter, Alpha Nerds Prime, Instagram, Alpha Nerds Prime. Follow us on Facebook. We are the Alpha Nerds. And obviously subscribe to our YouTube channel. Smash that like button. Shout out to our buddy Shaner. You know, he's got merch now, our buddy Shaner here. We need merch. He's got merch.
Who is Shaner?
He's one of our listeners.
Okay.
He's got a YouTube channel that's way bigger than ours. Good for him.
Okay.
But yeah, he's got merch. I bought some merch. It's en route. But yeah, he's got merch. Someone get us some merch. Anyone knows how to get us merch, hook us up. And remember, folks, when in doubt, square up, throw down. Have a good night.
That is still the greatest ending.